method I think I use the most, is particularly for salads, is bone-in, skin-on chicken breasts. And I'm just gonna show you how I do it. Olive oil, salt and pepper. It's as easy as that. So, olive oil, salt and pepper. Lots of pepper. You want it to have lots of flavor. In the oven, 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes, and it comes out perfectly every time. First, I've got the chicken, but in the same oven, I've cooked some bacon. And still in the same oven, I roasted some nuts. It's actually walnuts, cashews, and almonds. And I just roasted them for like 10 minutes. It really brings out the flavor. Okay, those are the components. Now we're gonna make the vinaigrette. So the first thing is olive oil. I need 2/3 of a cup of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Next thing is mustard. Give it a little heat. I love to add mustard to vinaigrette because it emulsifies it. 2 teaspoons of honey. Just a little bit of sweetness is nice. And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Want to have lots of flavor. 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Give it a whisk. And that's the vinaigrette. I just kind of, with my hands, just do large shreds of chicken. The next thing is bacon. It's nice and cool now. And I'm just gonna dice it up. And next, I've got all kinds of lettuces to put in. I've got kale and frisee. Got them all washed and dried. And you want to be sure to spin dry them really well, because if they're wet, the vinaigrette won't stick to it. And the next thing is spinach. And I use baby spinach leaves. Just put it all in. Classic Waldorf salad has grapes, but I'm using raisins instead. Just about 1/2 cup. Okay, next is cheese. Use a really good sharp cheddar, about 1 cup. Next, the bacon and the chicken. It's a nice crisp red apple. If you're gonna make this a little in advance, do the apple last because you don't want it to turn brown. Okay, now, of course, we need salt and pepper and the vinaigrette. One last ingredient, soft-boiled eggs. I'm just gonna cut them in quarters, and while I do, I'm gonna show you how I made them. I put 4 extra large eggs into a medium saucepan and covered them with tap water. Brought it to a full boil, then immediately turned off the heat. I let them sit in the water for exactly 4 minutes. Then I put them into a bowl of cold tap water for 2 minutes to cool. I like to put the eggs on top. I don't want to mix them in too much because you don't want them messed up.
I think we should start cutting up the veg for our grilled avocado with Cranch.
I love Cranch.
And it's
So
just fun to
Cranch
say.
is like a combo that Michael came up with. It is a combination of ranch and Caesar.
Cranch.
So we always refer to it as Cranch.
Because, yeah, I don't like ranch, but I love Caesar. So we found a happy middle ground, and it is quite delightful. We have the tomatoes. We have the sliced cucumbers, red onion. I'm pretty much going equal parts tomatoes, cucumbers, onion, avocado.
See.
So those go in, and you could just hit those with a little bit of the zest and juice of a lime,
Okay.
some extra virgin olive oil, and
Yes.
some salt and pepper, and then just pick these leaves of the cilantro and drop those in there too.
Okay.
All right, Lizzie, so for the Cranch, I'm gonna start with the Caesar. So I'm just gonna give this anchovy a bit of a head start and give it a mince. I have 2 anchovies here. So in our wooden Caesar bowl back here, I'm gonna put the anchovy. I'm also going to give this garlic a little bit of a smash. Mince that up. That goes in our bowl. I'm gonna put a nice pinch of kosher salt in here. So you just rub this at the bottom of the bowl, and it seasons the bowl and it helps break it up with the fork. 2 egg yolks, a little bit of lemon juice. I'm just going to squeeze Parmesan, and then we're just gonna put some extra virgin oil in there and make an emulsion, bring these things together where it almost turns into a mayonnaise-y paste.
Ooh, that looks good.
With the egg yolk, the acidity of the lemon actually helps kind of cook the egg yolk a little bit too.
You want to use a good quality egg though.
Yeah, ½ cup of sour cream. So I have a cup of buttermilk in here. So 2 parts buttermilk to 1 part sour cream. Now that is mixed up. To that, I'm going to add quite a bit of cracked black pepper. We're using a lot of the herbs you find in ranch. So I'm going chives, flat leaf parsley, dill, tarragon, pinch of salt, and a couple shakes of Worcestershire. I mean, look at the Cranch, huh? So
good.
you could see there, it looks a little ranchy, but it has the depth of the anchovies in there, the Parmesan cheese. It is Cranch and it is spectacular. So I need to get my avocados on the grill. I'm gonna hit these with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of kosher salt. I'm gonna put them directly over the coals on the grill and grill them for about a minute or two, just to kind of soften them up a touch and give them some of that charry, smoky flavor. All right, so these came off the grill. You can see they have a nice little char on them. You don't have to cut these. Just take your spoon and chunk them right into your Cranch. When we get these all done, I am going to mix it with the rest of my salad and we'll be ready to rock. This situation, what I like to do is you just take this creamy avocado Cranch, drop that down, get some of those tomatoes in there. Those avocados, what do you think?
I think it's incredible. And that lime juice and olive oil sort of softened the bitiness of the onion. Really good.
When you say California, I immediately think of avocado. So
Yes.
this is perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
So good.
Hi, I'm Katie Lee from the set of The Kitchen. Now, one of the things I love the most about spring is all of the fresh and colorful produce that starts to appear at the farm stands and in grocery stores. You all know that I love my vegetables. And today, I'm using those spring veggies to make an easy dish perfect for a spring feast. This is my sugar snap pea and radish salad. Let's get started. I've already brought a pot of water up to a boil, seasoned it with some salt. That's really important because that's gonna help flavor our sugar snap peas. And I've got a big bowl of ice water here so that we can do a little blanch on those. That's gonna keep them nice and green. So you just start by taking a paring knife and trimming these sugar snap peas. You just wanna take the ends off. Some of them have more of a string in there in the back, but not all of them do, and they're really tender, so you don't have to worry about stringing them like you would green beans. So you just take those ends off and into the bowl. Sugar snap peas are one of my favorite things about spring vegetables because you can just eat them raw, have them in the fridge, and these are so good on a crudité platter as well. So it just adds a nice little refreshing touch. I really like these stir-fried also. Just tastes like spring to me. Okay, I've got just one more left here. There we go, let's clean up. I always clean as I go. It makes it quicker at the end. Now these are gonna go into our boiling water. Again, we salted it so that they are nice and seasoned. And they just need about 1 to 2 minutes. We're not looking to cook them here. We're just looking to take a little bit of the crispness out and just really lock in that bright green color to them. I'm just gonna take my spider here and kind of toss them around. They're looking good. And you can do this if you're making a broccoli salad. That's a great thing to do, is to blanch it first. And these look great. All right, so this is a really good tool to have on hand. It's called a spider. You can also use a slotted spoon if you don't have one of these. Into the ice water bath. Just gets all of them out really quickly. If you like to deep fry, a spider comes in handy then as well. Look how bright green that water is. And you can cook some little macaroni in there too and get a little green hue on it. Okay, so just shock those in the water. That's gonna stop the cooking process. And onto a paper towel lined tray. And the paper towel is just gonna help absorb the extra water that's in there, because if they're too wet, they're not gonna hold the dressing. And you want that vinaigrette to really stick to these. I'm gonna pick them out of my ice. There we go. Here we go, we got a few more. Let's steal one. So crunchy and good. Let those dry. While they're drying, let's work on our radishes, okay? So I'm just using these little red radishes. You can use different shapes, different colors of radishes. They're a great spring vegetable. I love the pepperiness of these. And these little round ones, they're a little less peppery than some of the other varieties, but they still have that good bite to them. So we're just gonna trim these up. And I'll actually use my big knife for this. And then I like to do part of these in quarters and part of them sliced because I like the variety of texture to them. So years and years ago, this was like back in 2008, my first cookbook had just come out and I got to go on the Oprah show. And I was losing my mind to get to be with Oprah. And she was putting up pictures from the cookbook on the big screen, and she had this recipe up there, and she loved it. So now whenever I make this recipe, I think about Oprah saying that. All right, I'm gonna slice these up, just little thin slice. You can even leave some of these whole if you wanted. You could use some French breakfast radishes to give it a little something different. We've used on the kitchen purple ninja radishes, there's black radishes. There are really so many different varieties. Watermelon radishes would be beautiful in this as well. And they all have a slightly different flavor to them. So you can really play around with it and always have a different taste and texture. I really like to dip radishes actually just in salt. Butter and salt, that's a great way to eat a radish. I'll do that for a cocktail party. I'll just put out radishes. I leave the little green ends on them so they look nice and pretty, with a little bowl of softened butter and a bowl of salt. So pretty, I just love them. I'm gonna slice this last one. It's great. Okay, let me get rid of some of my radish tops. And now let's move on to our chives. So I also think of chives during the spring. They're a nice lighter flavor than an onion, but you still get that nice oniony flavor. And we're just gonna mince these up. They're beautiful, and you really find these a lot in the spring. This would be a great salad next to a piece of grilled fish or grilled chicken, or on a buffet of all vegetable dishes. Once the veggies start coming in, I like a whole vegetable buffet. I am real happy with that. Okay, I'm just gonna put my chives right into my mixing bowl because they're all going in together. And my radishes are gonna go in here as well. And my sugar snap peas. So take these, let's just do this. This will be easier. Let's get all of those in there. I've still got a couple ice cubes in here I'm gonna pick around. See how bright green they stayed from our blanching? The blanching's one of those steps that if you're in a hurry and you leave it out, it's okay, of course, but you can tell. It really does make a difference. Okay, let's make our dressing now. This is a really simple vinaigrette that you could use really on any salad. So what I like to do when I'm making a salad dressing is go 3 parts oil, 1 part acid. So for today's acid, we're using apple cider vinegar, but you could use lemon juice, white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, whatever you have. So 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I always have on hand a really good extra virgin olive oil and then an okay olive oil. I do my cooking in that okay olive oil because it doesn't need the flavor as much, but when you're serving it on a salad or on a drizzle, that's the time that you bring out the better stuff. And it doesn't have to be, you know, really good doesn't mean expensive. It just means one that you really like the taste of. And now I'm gonna put a tablespoon of that apple cider vinegar. And let's do a teaspoon of honey because those radishes, they love sweetness. I always put a little bit of honey into a salad dressing or a pinch of sugar. That was something my grandma always did. She used just regular white vinegar and she put a pinch of sugar in there. And I think she just used plain vegetable oil, and her salad dressing was the best. Okay, we're gonna go for some salt. Put a good amount of salt in there, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, because it's the only thing that's gonna be seasoning up these vegetables. And some pepper. And then I like making it in a jar because all I have to do to get it emulsified is give it a shake. If you want, you could add a little mustard to this. Some Dijon or some stone ground mustard could be good. It'll just make it a little bit spicier. And on to our salad. Now let's toss it together. Oh, this looks so good. I love the smell of vinegar. I'm one of those people that likes a lot of vinegar. So if I'm making a salad dressing just for me, sometimes I double up on the vinegar. But when I'm serving it to other people, I know not everybody's like me. Okay, this looks great. Now, if you were having a spring celebration, this would be so pretty on your table. Or just for a random Tuesday for lunch. Why not, right? Treat yourself. Here we go. Onto a plate. Oh, I'm so excited to eat this. I get a little bit of everything on here. It's so crisp and refreshing. And those radishes have a nice little hit of pepper to them. The sugar snap peas are so sweet, and you've got the onion of the chive. Delicious. I hope you make my easy sugar snap pea and radish salad for your spring feast.
So I'm making a cute little arugula salad. Now I make this salad all the time. And so right now I am making crostinis. I'm just gonna make a very simple brush, olive oil, some fresh herbs, and garlic, salt and pepper. I love croutons and salads. But what's even better than a bigger crouton? That's what this is. So I'm gonna get started on my olive oil brush. I'm gonna use about a half a cup of olive oil, some chopped garlic, a few pinches of salt, cracked black pepper, a tablespoon or so, just a bunch of parsley. So I'm gonna give a rough chop. Give that a little whisk. Oh, smells so good. You got the herbs, the garlic, the olive oil, the salt and pepper. Flip it over, of course. Both sides gotta get love. And that looks like it's ready for the oven. I'm gonna pop it in the oven. I have it preheated for 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. And while those are baking, I'm gonna get started on my peach salad. Instead of your typical romaine or iceberg lettuce, I'm gonna use arugula instead, because arugula just adds this hearty texture to the salad, and it's peppery, and it just goes really, really well with fresh fruit and that sweet olive oil vinaigrette that I'm gonna make. We're doing 2 peaches. Slice, slice, slice. So you know your peaches are in season when you can just pop out the seed. All right, so I'm going to assemble my salad now, but I will not put the dressing on it quite yet, of course, because I'm traveling to the beach to meet my girls, so we don't want a wilted salad. And I'm using smoked Gouda cheese. And I like using Gouda cheese because it adds a little bit of savory, hearty flavor without being overpowering. You're gonna find if you ever try to grate Gouda, it just doesn't work. The best thing to do is just crumble it with your hands. Add my sliced peaches. And then I've got my pecans. I don't want just plain pecans in my salad. I want candied pecans. Oh. I promise I'm not gonna eat all of them. It's gonna add a little bit more sweetness and a lot of crunch. Because I'm not dressing my salad right now, I'm gonna make my dressing in a mason jar. A little bit of olive oil, Dijon mustard, red wine vinegar, honey, and 1 chopped shallot. Give it a little shake. That looks good to me. Did you forget about the crostinis? I didn't. Wow, look at these. They are beautiful, nice and golden. Got a little bit of that parsley on there, got some garlic. Cheers to
Grilled Caesar with grilled tomatoes. So I have a head of romaine, and I just brushed the cut side with olive oil, and I'm sprinkling on salt and pepper. And then I did the same to 2 Roma tomatoes. And then I also have some lemon wedges, and I just brushed olive oil pretty generously on the cut side of all of it, just to kind of help them in the grilling process. So I'm gonna put them cut side down. I think grilled romaine is so cool. Okay, so I'm gonna make a homemade Caesar dressing, and it's very simple. Starts with anchovies, which nobody thinks they like, but they do. They all do. Some minced garlic and lemon juice, balsamic vinegar, or you can do red wine vinegar. I like to add Dijon to my Caesar dressing. Just add what you like. All right, and some Worcestershire sauce along with salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna give this a whiz. Sorry. Okay, now I'm gonna check on the lettuce because I don't want it to get too black or wilted. Ooh, look at that.
Wow.
I'll turn it over and just let the other side get a little bit. But see that smoke that's coming off the pan? That is totally imparting that kind of smoky flavor to the lettuce itself. So I'll check the tomatoes. They look good. Oh my gosh, looking so good. Okay, so while this finishes grilling, I'm gonna finish off the dressing. So I have some olive oil, and I'm gonna push the button and let it go while I slowly drizzle in the oil. Last thing to add is Parmesan cheese, which I like to just add at the very end and then just kind of pulse in. Oh, it smells so good. The combination of the garlic and the Parmesan and the anchovies. Ooh, that looks good. There's nothing better than homemade Caesar dressing. Okay, so time to take the beautiful romaine off of the grill pan. Got a little bit slippery there. And then I'll kind of scatter the tomatoes. So the lemons you can actually grill and use one of the wedges in your Caesar dressing if you want to. I just use straight lemon juice, but you can kind of add to the flavor by using this lemon juice too. Okay, so the basic salad is ready. I'm gonna wait and dress it at dinner time, so I'll serve the dressing on the side. What a gorgeous salad for 2, grilled Caesar with grilled tomatoes.
I'm gonna make a nice big salad with radish, avocado, and asparagus. We're gonna dial it up a little bit with the dressing I like to call my walnut dressing. Starting in a little food processor, a little shallot.
We're gonna have some protein and omegas in
Boom.
this salad
Omega
as well.
3s, 4s, and 5s. A little garlic, 1 clove of garlic, lightly smashed, just to give it a head start.
And Katie, fiber alert on the radishes or anything?
Fiber alert.
Fiber alert.
Uh-oh. We're gonna get these, again, pebbly. I'm not mixing everything together. We'll put in our liquids in a minute, because I want some texture in this dressing, if you
I'm
will.
really excited about
That's
this
it.
dressing.
That's it. You see that kind of almost
Yes.
like the beginnings of a nut butter without all the oil and everything for a little sweetness to pair well with those peppery radishes, a little bit of honey.
Don't y'all feel like radishes don't get enough love?
They don't.
Zero.
We're gonna add a little acid, sherry wine vinegar.
Oh, yes.
And
now you're talking.
Yeah, a little salt from the Mediterranean and some pepper from Cleveland. And a little bit of olive oil from Zakarian Farms. It's gonna hit that up a little bit.
I smell those shallots.
Right, just a little bit, like a little bit of shallots, because no 2 shallots are like the same size, right? Once you get going, Lovely, and that's it. Just kind of almost creamy, but still
Almost a
chunky.
pesto.
Almost, yes, exactly, Geoffrey. That's kind of what I was going for.
This dressing.
And now we got our blanched, shocked, and drained. I know Geoffrey has not been a proponent of shocking the vegetables.
No,
but
green vegetables.
green vegetables like that are super tender like this will overcook. I shock them, drain them well though, so there's no residual water in there. I got our radishes. We're just gonna dump that in here.
Oh.
Just when you cut your radish, I do like, you can eat the greens of these radishes. They're very, very peppery too, delicious in a salad. I like to keep a little of that green top and cut them lengthwise like that so you know you're getting a peak season, beautifully colored, fun little kind of cut of radish with that little guy still on there.
So cute.
Hey, how you doing? All right, so we're gonna finish dressing that. I got an avocado just for some, I don't know, I love avocado in salads. It's always like a little...
avocado in the salad. This is controversial.
Okay.
I always put it in after it's tossed at the end, so it doesn't go mushed up.
That's what I'm not even putting it in the bowl, Geoffrey. I'm gonna put it on top. This guy! Lame stain. Here we go. I always like to cut the little tip off, and I like to peel my avocados. Just gives a little pocket to peel.
I think it's satisfying.
And now we got from my upcycled vertical garden, still ticking over there, tarragons.
Boom. Bold.
And now we got that beautiful dressing that we are going to put all of it in there. You can leave this in your fridge. I like it fresh. I think just vibrant, fresh, and still a little crunchy from those.
You could probably take out any crunchy vegetable you have in your fridge with this dressing, and you'll be happy, right?
Yep. Isn't it fun? And it's like, I don't know, it's a salad, but it's also spoonable in a way, right? You get a little...
I think this would be great with a piece of grilled salmon.
I'm gonna put that in there. Just like that.
I can't wait to try this walnut dressing. I'm just so into it.
And I just want to get this a nice K2 type peak here. Try to get it high up.
I can smell that from here. The radishes. I smell the shallots too.
Oh, I'm so into this.
Ooh.
I feel like you could add a grain to this salad too. You could do like a quinoa or a farro with it.
Just a bed of that underneath. Lentils.
You don't muck up the avocado in the salad.
Never,
Especially when
jamais.
there's
That's a big
heartier things
mistake.
in there. Always get it on top.
I didn't realize you two were so serious about the
I'm gonna have to applaud this salad.
I love it.
You're breaking my chops about, are you making a radish sandwich? No, I made the accompaniment to a great radish sandwich, which is a great radish salad. But look how pretty that is.
I feel like this is a vegetarian salad, and that fanned avocado kind of mimics a chicken breast.
There you
So
go.
it's like a vegetarian meaty.
Jeff, you took like all the avocado on yours.
Saved half. I know, right? Super radish forward, right? There's not a lot competing in this salad with the radish. So you're getting that peppery, you know, tingle of the nose heap, creamed out by that avocado and that walnut dressing. I swear, you make this, how easy was that? You are gonna put it on everything this spring.
A stunning coconut shrimp salad. So the first thing I'm doing is doctoring up some bottled ranch dressing. I'm adding the zest of a lime, which gives it a little bit of kind of fresh tasting zip. And then I'll squeeze in the lime juice. Ooh, that's a juicy lime. And then some cilantro and a little hot sauce. Stir it around. Honestly, it really tastes like you made it yourself. So I'll put aside the dressing, and I'm gonna get into the breading of the shrimp. So the assembly line starts with seasoned flour and cornstarch. So it's basically flour, cornstarch, salt, and pepper, very simple. Egg and water mixed together. And then for the coconut, I'm gonna add about a cup of coconut flakes, and this is like the sweetened coconut that you buy in like the baking aisle. And I'll also add a cup of panko crumbs. So it's a coconutty but real crisp topping. I am madly in love with coconut shrimp. So I have a plate of shrimp. They're peeled and deveined, and I'm just gonna kind of squeeze them and open up just a little bit. So the first thing that happens is they go into the cornstarch and flour mixture, shake off the excess, and then it gets dunked into the egg wash, shake it off, and then into the coconut mixture, and that egg wash is just gonna hang on to it, and you wind up with this beautiful coconut-coated shrimp. All right, that's one shrimp. I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the rest of these. Paige, you wanna come help?
Yeah.
Okay, come help. Let's do it. Okay, many hands make light work. Isn't that right, Paige?
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me. That made it go by so fast. So Alex, check out this pretty plate of breaded shrimp. And I've got some vegetable oil that is heated about medium heat. You don't want to get it too hot. And I usually, to make sure it's ready, take a little flake of coconut and drop it in. And when it starts sizzling gently right away, then you know it's time to fry. Of course, you want to fry these in batches. So I'll just add enough to the oil so as not to crowd them, because I want them all to brown evenly and at the same pace. So that's the first batch. So I'm gonna babysit them and kind of move them around, take them out when they're brown, and then I'll keep frying the shrimp, probably in 2 additional batches. And as soon as they hit the oil, you kind of want to start moving them around so they don't gravitate toward each other and wind up in a big shrimpy clump. All right, the shrimp is fried, and just look at this beautiful plate of coconut shrimp. What I love about coconut shrimp is the little shreds of coconut wind up getting a little bit browner than the rest of the breading. And I just think it has a magnificent texture.
It's so nice.
You can almost hear the crunch when you look at it. So I'm gonna build the coconut shrimp salad, which is nothing more than a salad with coconut shrimp on top.
Oh.
So I have a plate of mixed greens. You can also do kale, spinach, whatever your preference. So I've got mini cucumbers and beautifully thin sliced radishes. Amazing. Mango, which I think always goes with shrimp. It's kind of just a little bit of a tropical vibe. Cashews. Love nuts in salad, whether it's almonds or sunflower seeds, anything like that. Put some over here. I love cashews. So you knew I was gonna do this, right?
Oh, baby.
Here goes the fried shrimp. And you can literally just go everywhere with it. It's quite magical, if you ask me. How pretty is this, though?
So pretty.
So pretty.
We might need another mango pile. And the last thing is just a sprinkle of fresh, gorgeous cilantro. And honestly, you know what? The ranch that we made, serve it on the side. But if you wanted to just go ahead and forego the salad altogether,
Just
you
dipping
could use
sauce.
it as a dipping sauce and just serve the shrimp as an appetizer. I love this salad, coconut shrimp salad. I love putting fried things on top of lettuce and calling it a salad. It's my favorite summer activity.
We've got a shaved kale and root vegetable salad. It's fresh and crunchy with quinoa and a red wine vinaigrette. You got the garlic going. We're gonna make a dressing here in a second. Let's talk about quinoa. Are you a quinoa fan?
I love quinoa because of what we do. Like in my leisure, I want to eat really well, really healthy, so quinoa is that.
He wants to eat really well and really healthy, so when he comes to visit me in California and we make pizzas till 2 in the morning.
Right. Hey, salt red.
Yeah. Okay, now here's the thing with the quinoa. There's a big question that goes on. Rinse it or don't rinse it. Now, when I grow it out in the garden, I rinse it. A lot of times when I buy it, I won't rinse it. Some brands I want to rinse, some I don't.
Right.
So are you a rinse guy or non-rinse guy?
You know what? It depends on if I'm making it for my son. We like to rinse, but if it's just like adults at the house, we don't rinse.
Okay, I'm not rinsing them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go about a cup of quinoa. Salt's right there. All right, let me get a little stock down. I've toasted up the quinoa. Now we'll go down with about 3 cups of veg stock. Let this come to a simmer. There we go. Okay.
Now, you know what? Question for you.
Hang on, wait 1 second. Let me just make sure I'm caught up where I'm at. Veg stock, salt, that's good. Let me give this a little stir. Bring it to a simmer. 15 minutes, turn it off. I'll be in good shape. G, how we looking?
Doing good. I'm gonna mince up this shallot real quick.
So a little garlic, about a tablespoon of garlic, tablespoon of shallots, a tablespoon of chives, red wine vinegar, olive oil, salt, and pepper. There's your vinaigrette.
Got
okay?
it.
So I'm working some carrots right now, and I got a little kale to go together, and this is all for the red quinoa salad, and also another favorite of G's and mine. And this quinoa, you know, I'll tell you something. Talk about versatile.
So much you could do with that quinoa.
Okay, so let's talk about holiday times at the G-Man's house.
Everybody cooks. So it's lots of meats, you know, whether it's ham, turkey,
That's in
chicken,
the holidays?
short ribs, yeah, and lots of vegetables.
Number one favorite item for the holidays. So, I mean, the one thing that you say, I know it's the holidays because I'm having...
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese, absolutely, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man, mac and cheese. Because now you can do so much with mac and cheese. Back in the day, it was just cheesy mac and cheese. Now you can do mac and cheese with bacon. You can do mac and cheese with truffles. Your mac and cheese has, I mean, everything except the kitchen sink in it.
Well,
I mean, I remember because I made like 5,000 of them.
There's only 6 cheeses in my mac and cheese. Okay.
Man, I got the kale salad, got some carrots in there, got some radishes. Gonna put the quinoa, and I got the vinaigrette, which is red wine, and I'm ready to knock it out.
Looking dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so here goes the, we got the kale in there. This is the real key to it, is the red quinoa. Let me give you a little sprinkle of that, G, kind of work it in.
Awesome.
There you go. Feeling good about that. Okay. And now, G, as soon as you're done with that, that looks fantastic. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
I am making a Potsticker salad, a bed of crisp, crunchy veggies with big, juicy pot stickers on top. I'm starting with the Potsticker filling, and I've got a cup of shredded green cabbage here that I'm massaging with a teaspoon of salt. I'll let it sit in a strainer so that any more moisture can draw out while I mix up my remaining filling ingredients. I'm using pork, 12 ounces of it, and to flavor it, I've got a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh chives, 2 teaspoons of grated fresh ginger, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then 2 teaspoons each of rice vinegar for some acidity, toasted sesame oil, and soy sauce. Let me press out any remaining moisture from the cabbage. And get this combined. I want to be careful not to overmix and create that tough texture. My filling is mixed up. I'll go get my wrapper dough. I made this earlier, it's rested, and I'm ready to divide it into balls and roll out rounds. It's just flour, water, and salt kneaded together until smooth. I'll divide it into 24 balls. And I'll roll these all into balls. Okay, now I don't want these to dry out as I'm shaping, so I'll cover these up. I'll dust my sheet pan with a little flour so that the filled pot stickers don't stick. I'll take a little ball of dough and pat it out with my hands to get started, and then roll it out into a 4-inch circle, sort of going around the edge. Okay, here we go. I'll keep on rolling out my wrappers, and then I'll fill them. And as I stack them up, I'll add a piece of parchment in between them so that they don't stick. Wrappers are all rolled out. Grab my filling, and I'll plop about a heaping tablespoon of the filling right into the center of a wrapper. I join the wrapper up at the top in the center first, and then I work out all the way to the edge, pleating one side of the wrapper and pinching it onto the other side. Creates a really pretty half-moon shape. And then place it onto my sheet that's dusted with flour. These are looking plump and great. To cook, I have a non-stick skillet heating over medium, and I'll drizzle in a layer of neutral oil. So I'll arrange these evenly spaced, and it is important to use a non-stick pan. They're not called pot stickers for nothing. I'll let these bottoms brown for just a few minutes. And now I'll pour in 1/3 cup of water and get my lid ready, because as soon as I pour this in, I want to cover up the pan. So the steam is going to help ensure that the centers of the pot stickers get cooked. I'll let this go for 8 minutes. And now I'll uncover them and allow any remaining water to evaporate. I want to make sure that the filling is 160 degrees. Looks good. I'll pile these onto my salad, which is chopped romaine with sliced cabbage, carrots, bell peppers, and snow peas with a soy, lime, and ginger dressing. It's almost like a big slaw. I'm not doing croutons per se, but I'm gonna add some crunchiness with sesame sticks. I love all the textures in this salad. I've gotta have some hot sauce on my pot stickers. I'll splatter on some sambal oelek, which is a spicy chili paste, and finish with fresh chives. A mountain of pot stickers. What? Here I go. I'm getting the chive in that pork filling and that crispy golden bottom. I'm happy.
The pub salad board with creamy caper tarragon dressing. So a pub salad is a salad served in pubs.
Oh.
You heard it here first. But the characteristics usually are pickled vegetables with lettuce and hard-boiled eggs, some combination thereof. So I'm gonna make a creamy tarragon dressing to go with the salad. So I started with mayonnaise and sour cream, and I'll add some lemon juice and 2 herbs, fresh dill, and fresh tarragon. And then gotta have a little bit of garlic. I'm gonna slice the eggs with this knife, so we're gonna have garlic eggs later. And then some chopped capers, which capers are one of those things, they're kind of like olives for me. I didn't like them when I was young, but the more old and decrepit I get, the more I totally love them.
Is this like a ranch dressing?
This is like a creamy tarragon dressing, which is exactly what I said I was gonna make.
I don't know what tarragon is.
It's an herb. It's an herb. But yeah, I mean, it's ranchy. Garlic, herbs with a creamy base. Okay, and then the dressing needs a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm gonna put the dressing into a separate bowl, and then this will go onto the board with all the other good stuff. So that was a pretty easy dressing to whip up. So I'm gonna kind of get the board going. So I just kind of picked whatever board was clean. That's like when I pick out the shirt I'm gonna wear. I basically wear whatever's clean. Okay, so I've got some butter lettuce, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it out. And then I have a whole bunch of stuff to add. So pickled green beans. Who knew? Good, right?
They're really good.
I love pickled veggies. So you can leave things in bowls and let everybody kind of grab it that way. But I like to make a board and just lay things out on top of everything else. So we'll do kind of duo piles as we go. And then some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. And sliced cucumbers, delicious. Now, this is one thing I know is gonna go over really big, pickled beets.
I love them.
You like pickled beets?
Oh, yeah.
That is a shock. What about you, Mitchell?
Never had pickled
Oh
beets.
my gosh. Well, I love roasted beets. So did your mom used to serve these?
Yeah, well, and roasted too.
Yeah, they're so good, and they're just earthy. They taste like the earth in a good way. Okay, and then I have some prosciutto. I knew Stu was gonna ask me where the protein was. I laid out 4 pieces of prosciutto and just kind of crisped them in the oven. So they're kind of like bacon at this point. So I'm just gonna kind of, you can do piles of it, but I kind of like to sprinkle. Sprinkle prosciutto everywhere is what I say. That's my motto in life.
It looks so much like bacon.
It does, doesn't it? How's it looking so far?
It looks so
I mean, I love a salad board too, because it's kind of like all about artistic expression. White cheddar, and this is like real Irish white cheddar. It's just super, it's kind of hard and
Yeah, it looks like Parmesan.
yeah, but it's cheddar and it's so good. The flavor is amazing. I have it sliced really thin, so I'll just kind of do little fans of it. And then I'm gonna end with probably the messiest thing, but also the most luscious thing. So I've got some soft-boiled eggs, and I had a little bit of a hard time peeling them, so don't laugh. But it doesn't matter because we're gonna slice them, and then check this out.
Whoa.
Wow.
There is nothing better in life than a soft-boiled egg. Nothing. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. They're gonna sell like wildfire, I predict. There's nothing better than a soft-boiled egg. Okay, and then just kind of put them all around. The only problem is if you serve this at a pub and you have men who are drinking, they will fight over these eggs. So you wanna be sure to have enough for all those rowdy men in the pub.
You're really taking this pub theme.
Well, it's a pub salad after all. Oh,
Oh, this one.
Oh my.
Nice.
wow. It's kind of just sinful.
So beautiful.
Isn't that gorge? And then
There's more.
last thing, a little bit of pepper. And the creamy tarragon dressing, also known as creamy tarragon ranch.
Tarragon, don't get it twisted.
Which I don't think they serve ranch in pubs, but who knows, maybe they do. Is this a beautiful salad or what?
Spring pea salad with jamon ham and mustard vinaigrette. Katie, you're gonna take those.
Sugar snap pea?
They're beautiful, blanch them. They've been picked, they're crisp, they're delicious.
So sweet.
They need literally 10 seconds, not more, and they have to go in an ice bath. We just have a boatload of salt in here. So 10 seconds, shock them, dry them, and we're ready to go. So I'm gonna take these peas, which I've done the exact same thing, right, with the English peas.
Yeah,
Okay,
fantastic.
just blanch them same way, putting them in here. Then I'm gonna take some of these beautiful snow peas and I'm gonna julienne them as good as possible. It's not a big deal if you don't do them perfect. Just put them on their side and cut like this. I actually love them like this. And we're gonna toss them in the vinaigrette. Oh, look how beautiful. Look at the color here.
Perfect, right? They're so vibrant.
Salt and ice water.
Would you say they're verdant?
Verdant?
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're the bookworm. of us.
I love a quick blanch. I think it's a great way to hydrate your vegetables and actually make something super juicy like a sugar snap pea even juicier. And we want that juiciness in spring.
Oh, the smell of cutting this is fantastic.
Is this a cold or room temperature salad?
This is a room temperature salad.
Room temperature.
Room temperature salad.
I mean, I'm just thinking about this. I'm doing a little math and thinking how beautiful this will be with my brisket.
Oh, that's right.
To have that freshness with the heavy meat.
And right, you know, I'm right after those beautiful deviled eggs you made, you devil. Okay, let's make our vinaigrette. Ready? I formed a little clock. Isn't that cute? It's 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Okay, mustard. There's a lot of mustard. Shallots.
I think of mustard and peas as going so well together.
Oh, yeah.
Just naturally.
A lot of pepper. A lot of pepper. A good amount of salt.
Wow.
Chardonnay vinegar. A little bit of hazelnut oil, because I love walnut oil, hazelnut oil, but you gotta be very careful. Like sesame oil,
Hazelnut
they can
oil.
like kill a dish.
Okay.
And
You can also,
and olive oil.
I just think if you do buy a little bottle of nut oil, because it's extravagant, but it's worth it, keep it in the fridge.
Good tip.
Because the
Goes
nuts,
bad
the
so
nut
fast.
flavors, they
It's rancid.
lose their pungency and they get rancid quickly, yeah.
So let's taste this. It just looks good. This is broken. Everybody asks me, should I drizzle? I have never drizzled in my life. I either put it in a blender for an emulsification or I just stir it like this. And if it breaks, you just shake it in a little pint jar in a plastic container and shake it up. And then would you snip me some pea shoots?
Oh, little pea
The final,
shoots.
what's that called? The final,
The pièce de résistance,
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
as
Just
you
throw
guys
'em in
would
here.
say, right? You want all of them in
Yeah.
like this? Is that all
yeah,
right?
you don't have to go so, just like lawn, just go, right? There you go. Beautiful.
Just like Martha. This is a Martha Stewart vibe right here.
All right, good. Thank you so much. So we have, look how pretty that is. I mean, it doesn't need much. And the texture is fantastic.
Love it.
Okay, so we're gonna bring it over here, and we are gonna dress this beautiful salad. Now, I know there's a couple schools of thought. I like having the dry salad here and pouring dressing on top. Some people paint the bowl and put the salad, and I think it makes, whether you're doing lettuce, I think painting is better. In this case, I wanna dose this, like you like to say.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dose it.
Dose it. Katie, we hit that with a touch of pepper and some salt. I'm not gonna put a lot, but I love these creamy shallots. See how creamy that is in the mustard? You can tell
I think a
it's good.
vegetable that's juicy like this and
And
even
just-
watery and sweet needs the punch of a
And
thick
just be
dressing.
careful. Don't get in there with tongs and start destroying everything.
I went for it. Sorry.
It needs like a touch more salt, but no, because we got some special stuff coming. What do you think?
I think it's perfect. I salted it, so
So it's
you know,
perfect.
If you say it needs more, though.
No, I think it needs a touch, but I think we're gonna put another touch on this of something else. Look how beautiful that is. So you have all the texture of peas.
It's beautiful.
Some raw, some cooked, some lightly blanched.
By the way, I love the pink bowl with the green.
Oh.
And really, the freshness of this is
And this I
going to
just
be
pile
so
high.
perfect next to your roast, Alex. Talk about a perfect plate of spring. We're gonna have it.
I really think this is an unusual, like an unexpected spring meal. You know, it's not your first thought.
A little
which I love.
manchego.
Oh, manchego.
Or ricotta salata.
I love ricotta salata with this.
A few toasted hazelnuts.
Oh, bring back that hazelnut oil.
And a little splash.
A splash
of
ham.
Little Serrano ham chips.
That's the first unit of measurement. That's the first time we've had a splash of ham on the show.
Just a splash of ham, y'all, you know?
A little crisped it up, and there you have your beautiful spring pea salad.
That is gorgeous.
Look at that.
That is stunning, Geoffrey.
Gorgeous.
I'm gonna make a little for you guys.
I'm having some too.
I have to tell you, I'm obsessed with hazelnuts. If you want to get me on board, just add hazelnuts or almond extract, and I'm there. It doesn't matter what else you put. I cannot wait. Look at this, so vibrant. And when I look at it, first of all, my mouth waters, but second of all, I can just tell what great texture.
I can't wait to make this at home.
It's the little things you did here. First of all, the cheese is so finely grated, it acts like salt. Second of all, I love that everything's a different shape. I love that even though the peas are cut up, they're poppy and juicy. Geoffrey, this is spring in a bowl.
Whenever you take a salad to a potluck, it's always good to take one that's colorful, visually appealing, and this is the key, really crunchy and fresh. I just perfectly described Napa cabbage salad. This is a play on a classic old salad. Lad's grandmother, Edna May, used to make it all the time, and it is one of the best salads in the world. I'm just making the topping that goes over the salad, and it starts with a package of ramen noodles. These are just the noodles out of a regular old packet of ramen. And this is gonna be the base of the most incredible crunchy salad topping. I broke them up into smaller pieces, and then I have some slivered almonds, and I'm adding some sesame seeds and dehydrated garlic, just to add a little extra flavor. And then I'll toss this together with my fingers. And then to bring all of this together, I'll drizzle over some melted butter. I'm laughing because this is a salad and I'm drizzling melted butter over one of the elements. And then, why not, a little bit of honey too, just a touch. And then I'll stir this together. Definitely one of those salads that everyone's grandma had in their recipe box. This has a couple little spins on the old classic, and that's what I love to do with potluck recipes. Just kind of give them little twists and turns now and then. All right, I have a little sheet pan with some parchment, and I'll sprinkle this mixture evenly all over the pan, and I'll spread it out just so it all has a chance to get golden in the oven. All right, I'm gonna put these into a 350-degree oven for about 6 or 7 minutes until they're nice and golden brown, and then I'll move forward with the rest of the salad. All right, the topping is finished baking, and look at this golden color. It caramelized a little bit on the underside, so I'm just going to break it up a little bit so when it cools, it's all separated. Oh, it smells so good too. A little bit nutty, just, Don't let me snack on this, it's for the salad. All right, so for the salad, it's Napa cabbage and it's shaved really thin. You just take a sharp knife and slice it as thin as you can, and you wind up with this kind of ruffly Napa cabbage. It's very crunchy. And I have some sliced multicolored peppers, the kind you just get in a bag at the grocery store. They're not spicy, they're just like sweet peppers. I'm adding edamame as well, shredded carrots, and then 2 more green things, some sliced green onions and cilantro leaves. I love cilantro, it's so good. All right, and then I'll just mix these ingredients just to kind of get them all distributed and mixed together before the dressing goes on. And speaking of that, I'll go ahead and make that dressing now. It's just 4 ingredients and it's really, really easy and so flavorful. It's just a quick mason jar dressing with 2/3 a cup of olive oil, 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 3 tablespoons of low sodium soy, and a tablespoon of honey. When everything's in, I just put the lid on and shake it together. So this is a potluck salad that you take to the potluck party in kit form, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what to do once you get there. So the dressing goes over, and Napa cabbage does stay pretty crunchy, but it's still best to just wait until right before the potluck begins to mix it together. So you wanna just kind of take your time, tossing it with tongs, bringing what's underneath up on top, because you want every last ruffly piece of Napa cabbage to be covered in that delicious dressing. So at church, or wherever your potluck is, you can either just serve it in the bowl, or if you don't mind wrangling another little serving piece, I like to put it onto a pretty big platter so everybody can really see what the salad's about. And you guessed it, so you just grab these crunchy, slightly sweet, very salty clusters of this ramen noodle and almond mixture, and you just go all over the edges of the platter, all over the top of the salad. It looks like a lot, but everyone who serves a bit of this salad is gonna get a handful of these. And everyone who sees this, if they understand Napa cabbage salad, they're probably gonna steal some extra pieces around the edge. All right, Napa cabbage salad. It's crunchy, it's tasty, it's a little bit retro, and it has stood the test of time for a reason. A potluck sensation.
It's my coconut shrimp salad. Great weeknight meal, but starting with the Napa cabbage is gonna be the main base of our greens in that salad. Jeffrey, if you
Yes.
can kind of shave that real thin.
Yes,
All
Chef.
right, fill it right into that bowl. And then we got
Beautiful.
some beautiful, colorful, and tasty red cabbage, as thin as possible, about a cup of that. Not too much. Some scallion whites go right in there, and reserve the greens for garnish later.
Okay.
Please. And I got peeled into vein shrimp, and then our standard Feb station.
Fab.
We got our flour, hit it with a little salt and pea. And then
Give me an F.
Give me a
E.
little bit of A, right? A little bit of water, whisk it up. And then our B, which is, of course, panko breadcrumbs for extra crispiness. But how do we bring that coconut? Unsweetened coconut. Season the breadcrumbs, right? Salt and
Always,
pepper. Make sure you
always.
taste your breading. Coconutty, crunchy. Little Feb on there, little F. We're checking our temp.
What do
Okay,
you
we are
want?
at about 375,
That's
which
high,
is
no?
perfect
It
for
is.
this.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
remember, we want color
Quick,
on the
right?
shrimp. We also want to cook.
Yeah.
And shrimp is, it's going to take about a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So shake off the excess. We've seen it a million times before, but I like to work in batches like this, Jeffrey.
There's something so zen about breading.
Right?
This is very
This is very nice.
efficient.
Very efficient. See how I'm doing this? Not making a mess using my tongs. I got my oil ready to go. So right from here, we're gonna start frying, guys, okay?
Love it.
Let's start that frying.
Oh, I
Now,
can't
do you
wait.
get questions about, can I fry the shrimp if they're frozen?
Yeah.
I don't. I get
Sure.
worried.
I mean, how long does it take to really thaw out shrimp?
Just
Not
seconds,
that
just
long.
running under some cold water
Yeah,
and they're
real quick.
defrosted. When we go to Florida on vacation to see my in-laws, Ryan always buys a big bag of frozen coconut shrimp at the grocery store.
Oh,
and then-
frozen,
I'm
huh?
glad you said that because I was going to say that's a great shortcut.
Yeah, they go,
Yeah.
we put them in the oven and like that's the snack sitting by the pool.
All right, so we're just kind of keeping an eye on our shrimp while breading.
Yes.
Multitasking, Jeffrey, very
Yes.
important in the kitchen. So we are checking these babies out. Look at that. My first batch is perfect. That's what you
Wow.
want.
That is
right on the edge, right a little bit, right when the sun is finally setting. Hot, right out of the fryer. And that's the beauty of the coconut in the coconut shrimp, those little kind of tendrils, those crispy little tendrils that stick out, slightly sweet. We'll shut off our oil. We are good to go. Jeffrey, remember, shaved all that beautiful red cabbage. That Napa cabbage is the base of our salad. That's right, yeah, get us some lime wedges to serve with this. We have some other things that you can add to this, some shaved or grated carrots, some edamame, little extra protein, little pop, I love them, some Thai bird chilies. I like to find the red ones because I think it really pops in that salad. And now, super simple kind of pantry pull salad dressing here, starting with peanut butter. This is like kind of a Thai peanut dressing, which I love. So we're gonna add a little bit of creamy peanut butter, soy sauce for that salt, little extra sweetness from some honey, some fresh grated ginger, some lime juice, and then some rice wine vinegar. I mean, what more do you need in this? This is a ton of flavor. Get that started real nice and slow. And then sometimes, like the peanut butter, you got to work through with the whisk a little bit, make sure it all comes together nice and smooth, and that's what we're doing.
Sometimes I add like a tablespoon of hot water.
And that's why I got right here.
Oh, okay.
So I do it about a tablespoon at a time.
Shut your mouth.
Yes, he did. None of my business.
I just don't, some peanut butters are thicker than others, you know, some just come together easier. So make sure you have some hot water on hand, 1 to 3 tablespoons.
I'm gonna tear this up, Jeff.
It's a good one. That
I
stuff
can
is
taste
like,
it right now.
all right.
Want me to do the thing?
How about, yeah, well, I'm gonna let you
the
do
thing,
that,
do the
buddy.
thing.
Do the thing. So now we are going to watch Geoffrey do the 2-spoon transfer here to the beautiful peanut dressing here. Nice and light.
I like the technique of doing the dressing and then adding the slaw to it versus adding the dressing to the slaw. You're gonna get better coverage.
To me, the novice of making a salad, because it doesn't happen often, I need to add the dressing to the salad so I don't overdress.
That's smart.
Like at small amounts
Go
at
ahead,
a time.
throw it in there. I'm feeling good.
But I feel like the cabbage can take it more than, say, lettuce.
Can my thighs take it, Alex?
Yes, I can.
Don't you think this should be slightly over-seasoned
Yes,
versus under?
Yeah,
I do.
Especially with cabbage, you need it to relax.
Or if you put kale or whatever in
that
there.
little
I'm just saying that
helicopter
for
salt?
kale.
Little helicopter
Fiber
salt
alert,
in there.
fiber alert.
This is going to, like, this could be a hit at any party, too.
Uh-huh.
We are serving it with plenty of limes. Now
That's
comes...
correct.
Y'all,
stand
I sat
corrected.
in the right seat.
Yeah,
I'm
you
right
did.
next
Sure
to that.
did, Katie.
This is right up your
Fried
alley.
coconut
A little bit
shrimp
of
and
cilantro
salad.
next to there, too. Oh, my God, this is going to taste great.
Oh, we're not done.
That looks really, like, I want to eat.
I want to tear it
That
up.
serves one right there.
This is like you're in a restaurant.
Look at that mound.
Wow.
Katie, does that not scream Katie Lee Biggs right there?
It
A mound of
does.
enchilada?
That looks like a trough salad if I've ever seen
Unbelievable.
one.
Let's play, shall we? I don't want to ruin this. No.
Don't let those shrimp get cold. Let's
Okay,
get it.
sorry. They're super hot, though. I let
The
them cool
food
for
Katie
you.
gets pushy.
She does.
I'm
It's
ready
like,
to
hurry
eat.
up.
Sometimes I get messages
This
from
is the
people
hot one
saying,
here.
you eat first and you don't push it down. That's just what
I know.
we do
That's
here. in the kitchen,
We
right?
we need to let you know what it tastes like. We can wait, and trust me, when the commercial break happens, it is a bacchanalia, okay?
Very underused food TV term, bacchanal.
Yeah.
Look at
There
this
you go, Katie.
gorgeous
I'm gonna give you
salad.
2 limes to squirt
It
on
is
there.
beautiful. Yes, because Geoffrey was very concerned about the acid, right?
I was.
You go through the bottom
Go to
first.
the bottom.
Wow, perfectly cooked shrimp, Jeff.
You're okay.
Uh-oh.
Coming down.
Lights out Lee. They call her
No,
Lights
I
out Lee.
want 4 scrimps, Jeff.
Yes, ma'am. I'll plate you in an even number if you want.
Yeah, I need even numbers.
We always played odd, right?
Yeah. That's actually a good bargaining tip if you're a bargainer with people. Tell them you like even numbers and then round down.
You guys, this salad tastes like I'm on vacation.
Vacation salad.
It's a vacation salad.
I love grilling, but it's not always that easy. You really have to pay attention to what's on the grill. So I like to do side dishes that are really easy to do and I can make in advance, like a big green salad with blue cheese dressing. How bad could that be? So I'm gonna start with the dressing. I've got good Roquefort. What I'm doing is a classic dish, but I'm gonna turn up the volume on every single flavor in the dish. Instead of regular blue cheese, I'm using French Roquefort. So I need about 1/4 pound of Roquefort. Just goes right in the food processor. That's good enough right there. 1/3 cup of cream. 2 teaspoons of tarragon vinegar. Not regular white vinegar, good tarragon vinegar. Cup of mayonnaise. So I can make this dressing in advance, get the lettuce ready, and then when everything's off the grill, it's ready to go. About 1 cup. None of this has to be exact. Okay, that should be about right. Lots of salt and pepper. It's a dressing, so you want it really well seasoned. Pepper. And just whir it up in the food processor. That's it. Okay, that's the dressing next to the salad. You know, usually it was done with like iceberg lettuce, which has no flavor at all. So I'm gonna turn up the volume and use really good lettuce. Just curly lettuce like this, or romaine, something like that. These are from my garden. They're really just beautiful, but you can get good lettuce in the store. The key is to make sure they're really dry, and then the dressing really sticks to it. These are really big. I can't fit them into the spin dryer, so I'm gonna make one. Just take a clean white kitchen towel, put them right in the middle, pull the corners up, just like this, and you've made yourself a spin dryer. Just steer clear. And it gets all the water out, and then the dressing really sticks to it. You feel crazy, but it works. Okay. Nice, gorgeous dry lettuce. So instead of pulling all the leaves off, I'm actually gonna do this. I'm just gonna cut them in half. Let's see which one. I like the curly one, so I'm gonna start with that. Just take the bottom of this off and just cut the whole thing in half. Make sure it's nice and clean. And just put a big piece of lettuce on the plate. I mean, how simple is that? And now you've got to have tomatoes, but not just ordinary tomatoes. I'm going to pick really gorgeous heirloom tomatoes. Just a couple of big, thick slices. Yeah, okay. I always like to use a serrated knife for cutting tomatoes. I think they're easiest. You want something that has great flavor. So I'm going to do like 2 slices of tomato. And then because I have all these gorgeous little tomatoes that are so wonderful, I'm just gonna cut them in half. They all don't have to be the same size. I actually like when they're not the same size. This looks like a very big salad for 1. Might be for 2. Just little tomatoes. This is one of my favorites, called green zebra, appropriately named. And even when it's ripe, it's green, and it's so delicious. All these little, aren't they just gorgeous? Look how lovely they are inside. And all I need is dressing. And I've got the perfect side dish for a grill. This big drizzle of blue cheese dressing. And of course, to give it even more flavor, crumble of more cheese, a little bit of blue cheese on it. I mean, does this look good or what? I can guarantee you I'll be serving this at my next grilling party. Heirloom tomatoes and blue cheese dressing. Who would want anything else? So good.
I'm gonna make lemony salmon with asparagus salad. I'm gonna start by cooking some beautiful salmon fillets, and I'm sprinkling on just some prepared lemon pepper seasoning. Okay, can you see, Alex? So I'm gonna put the salmon down into a pretty hot skillet. I wanna sear the salmon. So I've got some oil in there and it's pretty hot. So I'm gonna let it sit there without moving it. I'm gonna go ahead and season the other side with the lemon pepper. And you might notice I have some fried eggs, sunny side up over here, that I've been just finishing frying. So I'm gonna let those sit. They're gonna continue to cook really slowly. We will hope that when it comes time to turn the salmon, it won't stick to the pan. Hope and pray. So the asparagus salad is absolutely amazing. Take a look at this, Alex. What I did was I just took spears of asparagus and a vegetable peeler and just shaved them into little ribbons, and I'm gonna make a salad out of this. So some lemon zest and olive oil, not too much, and some lemon. I'll just squeeze it in with just a couple more ingredients. So I've got some feta cheese, and look at this up close. This is herbed feta cheese, and that means the feta cheese has herbs in it.
Is that what that means?
That's what it means. That's what it means. Some crushed pistachios. So it's just a really amazing, like flavorful, crunchy, nutty salad. And then lots of mint leaves. Did I say the word crunchy? We love the word crunchy in our house. And then I'm gonna grab some salt and pepper as you go across. Don't worry. I need to get rubber bands to tie around my sleeves because I get letters. People worry. People worry about my sleeves. Okie doke. So look at this. Isn't this pretty? I mean, just on its own, I would totally dive into this. Lad Drummond, not so much. I forgot that I have a whole bunch of sliced sugar snap peas. So those go in. I kept looking at the salad thinking, why is this salad like so meager? And that's why. One of the main ingredients wasn't in. So pretend you didn't see that. Okay, and then this goes on the platter. Ah, that's better. That's much, much better. Okay, and then spread it out. All right, how's that look so far?
Amazing.
Beautiful, right? And then I'm gonna grab a spatula. Got it? And let's see how these look. Let's see if they stuck. That one, oh, that one didn't. It looks so good. All right, I'm gonna let the salmon finish cooking. It's gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will finish off this beautiful dish. So here's what we do. I like it when salmon is just barely done. And then even when you take it out of the pan, it kind of keeps cooking. And then it doesn't get too dry, and it's just perfect by the time you get it to the table. Or the island, in this case. All right. Third piece and the fourth. And then prepare to be amazed. Ooh, I let these eggs get a little bit crispy around the edges, but I love that. So I just cooked these sunny side up, and how I do that is just put, oh no, except for that one. Oh, shoot. Oh man, slippery. We'll just do 3 fried eggs.
Yeah,
how does that
3's fine.
sound? We're gonna leave that 4th one out because it's gonna mess things up for us. Okay, so this is how, I'm gonna eat this for lunch, but I just put them in a hot skillet with butter and let them kind of set, and then I turn the heat to low, and I literally just leave them there until the eggs are, the whites are cooked and the yolks are still really runny. So more pistachios go on, and then more mint leaves, which I think is part of the thing that's so beautiful about this. And then a squeeze of lemon, especially over the salmon. This looks great. Oh, I forgot. I thought something, I'm forgetting ingredients left and right. Balsamic glaze. And here's what I like to do. This is truly one of the best ingredients known to man. I'll just do it mostly over the salmon. Just kind of do a little crisscross. Lemony salmon and asparagus salad with 3 eggs. Make sure you don't do 4 because that would ruin the dish.
A crisp radish salad.
I love radishes, and I'm gonna shine the spotlight on them. I'm gonna make a vinaigrette, and what I've done is I've taken some orange or grapefruit juice, in this case some grapefruit and orange juice. I've reduced it down till it's like syrupy. Nothing else is in here. So when you reduce it, you get more flavor, and it sticks. So to this, we're gonna add a little salt, some soy sauce, some Chardonnay vinegar, which I love, some mustard to go with the French radishes.
Yes, oui.
Pepper, a little honey. The honey is gonna go really well with the radishes because we need a little sweet to counter all that pepper we have. And then finally, some olive oil, extra virgin, and not a lot, not like a vinaigrette a lot, but just I would say 50% olive oil. Okay. Okay, to this bowl, we're gonna add a little fennel, some radishes.
Those are gonna be pretty.
So pretty, right? That's just perfect. That's enough of those. The watermelons? Yeah, okay. Just put them in here. We're good to go. Now, for the salad, I have avocado. The avocado you want to use, you want to touch as little as possible. I would, when I make my guacamole, I would just cut here and squeeze into the bowl.
That's right.
I wouldn't even put a spoon to it. But in this case, I just want to get a spoon down into it. And try not to get this end here because there is a big seed there. It's such a beautiful thing. Then I'm gonna put the citrus first.
Okay.
Okay.
Because drizzle is gonna take care of everything. The salad dressing. Now I'm gonna take some of this. First thing I do is I'm gonna put the sauce on top. The last thing I'm gonna do is salt it because if I put the salt then and the sauce after it, it's gonna push the salt off. So it's really important that this really coats the avocado. It does 2 things. It flavors it, most importantly, and it also keeps it from going brown. Oh, that looks good. A little in here.
Yes, don't neglect the radish.
A little in here. No, I'm done with that, Jeff. A little
You don't
bit
want
of,
none of these either?
Don't change my recipe.
I'm just trying. I mean, I did a lot of work and you're barely using anything I've done, so I'm just concerned.
Just want to make sure I had enough, that's all. A little salt in here. Because don't forget, no salt has touched this. And then we're gonna salt the avocado.
Yes, it needs it.
Then some serrano chilies that I de-seeded and diced finely.
Jeffrey, I mean, come on, I'm hungry over here.
I'm doing my best. You know, you can't rush perfection, right, Jeff? And there you have it. You want to have some?
I'm taking a taste, Jeffrey.
Yeah?
There's so much going on in here. The peppery radishes, the creamy avocado, that punch of citrus. That is such a delicious vinaigrette. Oh man, Jeffrey, it's good. That little hit of jalapeno at the end, it's spicy.
My college friends are visiting the farm and I'm making some of my Middle Eastern favorites. I have a unique spin on tabbouleh salad that is vibrant, crisp, and fresh. I'm gonna start by ricing some cauliflower, and tabbouleh salad is typically made with bulgur wheat, but instead of that, I'm using this cauliflower rice. And this was a thing I started doing one year on Passover because you can't have wheat on Passover. And it was so good. The cauliflower just kind of soaks up all the flavors of the vegetables and the herbs that typically go in tabbouleh. And it makes me feel better about eating the whole bowl because cauliflower is good for you. All right, now you can buy cauliflower riced already, or you can save money and rice it yourself easily with a box grater. And you get what looks like rice. I've got my cauliflower rice, and now I'm gonna quickly saute it in some olive oil. Cauliflower rice is also really good as fried rice. Now I'm just gonna cook this for a few minutes, and while this cooks, I'll gather the rest of my vegetables. I've got a few radishes, some scallions, and Persian cucumbers here that I'll chop up. And I love these little Persian cucumbers. They're crisper and sweeter than the big guys. And they're gonna add such nice crispness and a little bit of sweetness to this salad. I think it's about ready to remove from the heat. Okay. Now I'll continue chopping up the rest of my vegetables. I've got 6 scallions here that I'm gonna slice thinly. I'm just dumping all my ingredients into my salad bowl. And now a few radishes will add a nice peppery kick. I'm gonna add half of a red onion. And now I'm gonna add tons of herbs. Tabbouleh has to have a lot of fresh herbs. I've got cilantro, parsley, and mint in here. I'll just pile these right in. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of heat with some crushed red pepper. And I'll season with salt and pepper. And now this salad doesn't really have a dressing. I'm just gonna add tons of lemon juice and olive oil. And this is gonna add so much nice brightness. So I'm adding the juice of 1 lemon, and then I'm gonna eyeball about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Doesn't need to be exact. Now I'll toss it all together. Oh, it's so fun to see all of these colors blend together, get really pretty. Okay, let me sneak a taste. I just love the way the lemon and the olive oil coat all the vegetables and really makes their flavor shine. This is gonna be the perfect side dish to my falafel.
So I'm gonna turn Caesar salad into Caesar salad with shrimp, but I'm also changing up the way that I prepare the lettuce. Almost every Caesar salad has chopped romaine. Sometimes I'll do an entire heart of romaine, but this time I cut them into quarters. It is going to make a gorgeous and elegant salad. I really like changing up flavors, but also the way I present a recipe. So now it's all about the Caesar dressing. I have a jar of garlic olive oil. This is going to add such a flavor punch to my regular Caesar dressing recipe. So I'll start with about 1/2 cup, and it saves me a step because I don't have to mince the garlic myself. Dijon is something I like to add to Caesar dressing. It adds a great tanginess, about a tablespoon. Same amount of balsamic vinegar, a few dashes of Worcestershire sauce, and this is controversial. Not everybody likes to add anchovies to their Caesar dressing, but I do. It's very subtle, it's not fishy. I'm adding about 4 fillets. And then I've got a lemon, and I'm gonna add about half of the juice. Okay, now some salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna mix it up before I add the next ingredient. That came together very quickly. I'm gonna add some grated Parmesan. The texture of Parmesan cheese in Caesar dressing is so nice. Okay, this dressing is just the right consistency. You want it to be pretty thin because you want it to kind of have a chance to seep into the leaves of the romaine. It's just lovely. And I like that you don't have to toss it. It's nice to just pour them down these strips of romaine lettuce. And I'm gonna cover the top of this salad with beautiful cooked shrimp. These are about 16 to 20 count, which means there are 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. But you can use whatever shrimp you have. You can do really big, colossal shrimp. You can do tiny little popcorn shrimp. That would be fine too. I'm gonna add some slices of avocado. Because I left the lettuce in such large pieces, I wanted to leave the avocado in pretty spears. This salad really is as much about the presentation as it is about the flavors. You know what? Something's missing. Croutons. That's good, because I have that covered. I would not have a Caesar salad without croutons. I made my own, the same croutons I make time and time again. They definitely needed no revamping. They're garlicky croutons, and they're very simple. I put half a loaf of crusty French bread cut into cubes on a sheet pan and spread them out. Then I drizzled over 1/4 cup of the garlic olive oil I used in the dressing. I sprinkled them with half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, tossed the cubes to coat them, then put them in a 250-degree oven. And when 25 minutes were up, they were deliciously crispy, and I took them out and let them cool. Croutons are the best. I could snack on these, honestly. Now just a couple more things to finish off this beautiful salad. I've got some fresh Parmesan. And then just for a little bit of herby freshness, I've got some parsley leaves, which I think is kind of in with the theme of keeping things in big pieces. And then this can never hurt. Just another little squeeze of lemon juice just to finish things off. This is a Caesar salad with shrimp. I may never be able to go back to the old way of doing things. This is perfect.
My barbecue bacon wedge salad with grilled corn.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I love iceberg. Iceberg, that crunch.
Crisp.
I crave the crunch. All right, Sunny, you are on iceberg duty.
I got you.
If you can wedge it up for me.
That's so
if
tough.
you can have those little tomatoes.
No problem.
And if you can cut that corn from the cob, you can just throw that corn under the broiler or right on the grill if you've got it fired up, and then cut it off the cob.
Done.
Okay, now, I don't know about you guys, but my wedge has to have blue cheese dressing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got mayonnaise here, a little bit of buttermilk to give it some extra zing. And speaking of zing, let's just add some vinegar in and some hot sauce as well.
Is that white
Little pinch
vinegar?
of sugar.
Because
Yeah,
that's
white
the
vinegar. Yeah, it's got to be white vinegar. Little pinch of sugar. You need that little bit of sweet with all of that vinegar in there. And then the blue cheese. Let's give it some good pepper. See that my blue cheese dressing has a good amount of hot sauce in it. It kind of gives it this little pink hue to it, and that's because I think it pairs really nicely with the good part that I'm about to do over here.
man.
Because it's Dad's Day, we need a nice thick cut of bacon.
Girl, that's a bacon steak.
Yeah, we're basically having a bacon steak as our side, okay? So I'm gonna make barbecue bacon here. So for our glaze, and by the way, you can just ask the butcher, cut me that bacon thick. Okay, so I've got some barbecue sauce here. I'm gonna add to it some dark brown sugar because I really want a lot of sugar in this to crystallize, and some apple cider vinegar.
Ooh.
Stir it up. I've got the bacon on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and I'm just brushing it with this glaze. It's gonna go into the oven at 350 degrees, and you're gonna let this cook for about 40, 45 minutes, but every 10 minutes, you're gonna get it out and baste it.
Baste it.
Flip it and baste it so it gets this wonderful barbecue glaze on there.
Are you using the Jeff Mauro parchment paper bacon method?
It's called the Mauro method, but this is a little different, I think.
A little different. This is our bacon steak. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the oven. I've got some that's already done in there. Wait until you see it. I really believe
That's like pork belly.
It's a showstopper.
That's like pork belly.
It's very pork belly adjacent.
Oh my heavens.
Holy
shit.
I mean, just drop the mic. Okay, so now, let's see. I'm gonna get
This
a
is for the
fork here.
vegetarians.
Yeah, this is for the vegetarians in the family. Okay. Take this. Each person is gonna get.
You know, that takes time though. You really have to, you can't rush it.
Yes. Yes.
It has to render and it has to get soft and then it has to do
And
its
that's why I cook it at a lower temperature, like 350, because you want that fat to slowly render and mix with your glaze. All right,
Oh,
Sonny,
boy.
let's build this salad.
Sonny, your eyes have just gotten, I saw them enlarge.
Eyes on the prize. I'm focused.
I
okay?
saw them.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be Father's Day, but this is a gift for
I know,
you.
we're not getting any of
I
this,
feel like
Jeff.
cutting
This is
right
going
here
right.
and leaving that piece
you
on the
want?
board.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's how you're gonna do it, Katie.
Yes.
We're gonna make them fight over that bacon.
Uh-huh. Let's put that grilled corn over the top. This is gonna give you a little pop of sweetness, little let you know it's summertime, because summer we gotta have some corn, right? We're gonna have our tomatoes here.
Taters.
Get those. You wanna salt those tomatoes.
Yeah.
You gotta season your salad. I'm not gonna salt the bacon though, it's plenty salty enough. Damn. And I'm gonna give a little pep here.
That's delicious.
And now let's get to the really tie it all together here.
I love how excited you are.
I'm so excited. You all know I love
It's
my
a salad.
I mean, this could really
This is not
just
a
be
salad.
mine.
Not a salad. It's an experience.
This is
Right.
America.
This is what you give someone like for a gift. You're like, oh, I'm gonna make you.
I mean, how
a
is
wedge
this for
salad for
Father's
4.
Day? And because it's Father's Day, I'm using one of Ryan's recipes. He makes pickled onions. I've made him here on the show
Okay,
before.
Oh, that's so
Ryan,
He
sweet.
has such
see you.
good
Look at
pickled
you.
onions, and I
Actually,
think,
they need them.
well, the
It needs
fat
it.
from the bacon, it's really nice to have this little pickled moment. I think he should jar these things. I mean, is this pretty or what?
Okay, very nice. Very nice.
All right. Let's get in here.
I get
Jeff,
to- I
I'm
got
gonna plate
official
one up
taste.
You're
for
not a good
you.
place setter. You're like,
Way to go with just putting a plank of bacon on the plate.
Right?
Why do I need to bother with chopping it up? I can do that as I'm tearing it down.
I'm going in.
Sonny, I know this is your piece of bacon.
come on,
Take that
Jeff,
and
get that
tear
piece
it
of
up.
steak there. That's bacon steak.
Oh.
Go there. Go ahead. Come on.
Yep, I'll take the tomatoes. Now,
Look
you
at
know
us
my thighs
watching
are
him
gorgeous.
eat. We're like, oh, I like the tomato move.
Oh,
You speared the tomato in between the iceberg and the bacon.
That's right.
It's basically a BLT.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's so gratifying about the combination. Smoky, salty,
Oh, my God.
and now super sweet bacon. Crisp iceberg, funky blue cheese, creamy dressing,
I got the perfect bite.
sweet corn. I mean, there is no need to cook 12 strips of bacon in a frying pan, crisp it up.
Whoa.
This is what you should do. And probably, at the end of the day, this could be a main dish because this bacon is so gratifying. It's so soft and sweet.
Here,
Katie,
have some.
fantastic.
Having a carb-free lifestyle is very important to me. So I have a big metal bowl, and I'm using frozen bread dough that I thawed overnight in the fridge until it was totally thawed and it had started to rise. And then I rolled it out just till it was pretty thin, because if this is too thick, you'll get into trouble when it bakes in the oven. Okay, so you want to kind of look around the bowl. It doesn't have to be totally even. It's kind of fun if it's a little bit wavy and uneven. At least that's what I tell myself, because it's always uneven when I do this. And then I'm gonna brush it with a mixture of butter and garlic powder, just so it has a really golden, beautiful texture on the outside. I love a good salad, especially when it's served in a golden, just delicious bread bowl. I love bread bowls, actually.
Same.
And the cool thing is you could actually you could do like individual bread bowls. You could alter the size of the metal bowl that you use, and you could do smaller ones. I thought, if I'm gonna make a bread bowl today, I'm gonna make a big one. Okay, let's put this in the oven. Gonna bake it at 425 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and golden brown, and then we're gonna have some fun. I decided to let it cool just so it would be cool enough for me to handle. So, get the bowl and watch this. This is where the rubber meets the road. So I'm gonna put it onto a serving platter for the salad. And I wanna get this garlic butter situation on the inside of the bread. So I'm gonna brush the inside, just so it has a little bit of that yummy garlic butter flavor on the inside. But truth be told, I'm tempted to just abandon the salad right now and just go like, be alone with the spread bowl, because how fun is that? And if it were small and individual, you could like use it for chili. You could do like chili bread bowls. So I'm gonna make the salad. I can't forget that this is all about the salad. The bread is just a vessel. For the dressing, I'll add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a mason jar, then a tablespoon of red wine vinegar, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of oregano, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of pepper. I'll put the lid on, then give it a shake, and it's done. So I'm gonna make a really simple tossed salad. It's just chopped greens with olives, cut up salami, black olives to go with the green, some cut up mozzarella cheese, my fave, and roasted red peppers. Okay, so here we go. The salad goes in the bread bowl, and then to garnish, can you see?
Yeah, it's so pretty.
The side got a little bit high. So you can take little extra pieces of salami and just kind of fold them, tuck them into the lettuce. Look at this. Because then you wind up with these cute little kind of fanned pieces. But wouldn't this be fun for company? All right. I think this is one of the most fun things we've made in a while. Salad served in a pizza dough bread bowl. I don't know what else to say. Viva la salad.
For a seriously flavor-exploding side, I am making my crispy rice salad with kale, which is spicy and fresh. I make my dressing and then fry up some rice and toss it all together with kale. To get started on my dressing, I'm gonna chop up a Thai bird chili. These guys are really little, but they pack a good amount of heat. And then I'll also use a zester to grate in 4 cloves of garlic. And then I'll also grate in a teaspoon of fresh ginger. All right, I've got my garlic, ginger, and Thai chili in my bowl. And I also have some oil heating up that I'm gonna use to fry the rice, but I'm gonna steal 2 tablespoons of it so that the garlic and the ginger can kind of cook and become really fragrant. Oh yeah. I'll also get 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, which has so much flavor. It's made with fermented salted anchovies. And my gosh, I just love this stuff. And then for acidity, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of lime juice. I'll whisk this all together. And that's it for my dressing. I'll just set this aside and let these flavors meld while I fry up some peanuts, which will add great crunch and nuttiness to the salad. And I'm gonna put them into my spider first, which will help me gently lower them into the oil. All right. I've got 1.5 inches of neutral oil here, heating to 350 degrees, and then I'll fry them until they're golden. It'll just take a minute or 2. These are smelling nice and toasty, and they're getting some good brown color. And I'm actually gonna transfer them directly into my dressing so that they can soak up some of that good flavor. Okay, I'll set this aside and grab my rice and veggies. I've got my kale and a shallot and some leftover rice, which is best for frying because it's dried out a little bit. I'll gently add this to my oil. Okay, this will fry at 350 for about 5 minutes. And in that time, I'll chop up my veggies. I've got some dinosaur kale here, which I just love for its dark, rich color. And I'll just take it off of the stems. Okay, I'm gonna gather this up, and then I'll thinly slice it. I'll add some sliced shallot rings on top and some freshly chopped cilantro. Let me check on my rice. Yes, that's some great color, and I can feel how crispy it is. I'll transfer it to a paper towel to drain. I'll just break it up into pieces right into my bowl. And I like some of the bigger pieces too, so I don't want to break it up too much. I'll add in my peanuts. The smells that are happening right now are just beyond. And then I'll toss this up. Oh yeah, get everything coated in that delicious dressing. And as the kale coats in the dressing, that saltiness will help break it down. The kale's looking really nice and glossy. Okay, let me give it a taste, make sure that I have enough dressing on there. And also, I really just can't handle this smell without eating it. Perfect 11 out of 10.
This is my triple tomato salad, which could be quadruple, or what's the word for 5?
Quintuple.
Yes, so at the end of the season, tomatoes are everywhere, right? So the tomatoes you thought were ripe are now overripe. The tomatoes that are overripe are on the way out. So this is kind of a way to use all of them. And I like tomatoes plain and in a salad, but I love the texture of them cooked, raw, and marinated. So that's what we're doing. So we're taking the tomatoes that aren't so great. And these little cherry tomatoes that are like, they're good, but they're not really as good as they should be. We're gonna roast them, okay? In a 350-degree oven. Very simple until, I like to say, they give it up. They're just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Right? Throw a little olive oil, throw the tomatoes, a little smoked sea salt or regular sea salt, some dried thyme, which I love for roasting, and a few pieces of garlic. This is not confit of tomatoes. This is just a quick roast. You put it in there and you leave it alone for about 20 minutes, just like that, all right?
All right.
350, and is that what you have? You see they've sort of given it up? Mm-hmm. Kind of crinkly, but really nice. And what the beauty of this is that stuff on the bottom. We want to keep that. That is really gorgeous. So I'm going to put that aside for step 1. Step 2, we're going to make a marinated salad. Now, these are those jelly bean tomatoes that are just like you keep eating them and you can't stop. They're so sweet. They're usually orange or yellow, and they call them grape or jelly beans. There's all kinds of names. These are really fresh. First, I'm going to make a little vinaigrette with a little bit of honey, some mustard, and a little bit of Calabrian chili.
This guy,
just a touch.
Favorite.
Joey Calabrese over here from the old neighborhood.
And a little bit of white wine vinegar and olive oil. That's it. And it's done, right? So you're just gonna take this, let it sit, maybe a little salt and pepper, okay? And that is the marinade. So we're gonna just cut the rest of them up. And now we have 2 tomatoes working. So 2 of our 3 are done. So in that I put a few raw red onions.
Wow.
You know, and I'm gonna put that in there and leave it sort of to marinate. And that's step 2. Boom. So this is, heirloom tomatoes. We're gonna cut it down around. You're gonna hold the core with your finger, go around the core. Very important, this piece is the best part of the tomato, right there. That piece, to me. I like to put that aside. I sort of trim them up just a bit, and we won't throw any of this away.
Look at that.
Beautiful. With the tomato, so the fresh is gonna be on top. The marinated and the roast are gonna be sort of spread around, so every bite you have a little bit of a different style of tomato. So for this, just to loosen it, I'm gonna put a touch of vinegar on the bottom. This just to loosen it. And all of that tomato and salt has just created this gorgeous little vinaigrette. And we're just gonna drop it down. And you could just see that these tomatoes now have sort of dehydrated and become more intense.
So important when you marinate things to stir them right before you plate.
Oh. And then we're just gonna have some fun with this, because these just deserve one thing, and that's salt and olive oil, like you said earlier.
That.
Because they are so beautiful.
Maybe some of that smoked sea salt you had over there would be good. Are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, buddy.
And then I like dill on tomatoes. I don't know why. Just
so good.
I love dill. And a few pieces of basil. So I just like to throw a few on top. And there you have our 3 expressions, or 3-part tomato salad, roasted, marinated.
Uh-oh. Someone's dipping in
I'm
already.
ready to
Someone's
go on this.
Sharpening
Okay,
her
so there you
fork.
have that. Isn't that pretty?
That is
Beautiful,
beautiful. Jeff.
beautiful.
I mean,
Katie, I'm going to give you a little.
Yes, I really want to try this.
seared piece of fish, like a sea bass with that would be very good.
There you are, Katie.
I can't wait to try this.
Think of that.
Why, thank you. Look how beautiful that is. Geoffrey, the way that you added the roasted in there, the marinated, which has such a zing from the vinegar and their own natural acidity, and then paired it with the dill and the basil.
Thank you.
Love it, love
Thank
it,
you.
love it.
I love a beautiful salad in the springtime, and I'm going to make a spring grain salad, starting with the grains. So I'm taking a couple of shortcuts in this recipe. These are 2 microwavable pouches of grains, and this is really a great mixture of farro and quinoa and barley and millet and all of those good things. And it's so nice because you don't have to buy different bags of grains and cook them all. So then I've got some beautiful peas. They're just frozen peas that I thawed, so they're still nice and cold. And then goat cheese. You could also do feta, whatever is your favorite or whatever you happen to have in the fridge. I love goat cheese. Oh, radishes. Perfect spring salad ingredient. I love growing radishes. Somehow when I grow radishes, they're a lot spicier. And then some halved cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, different colors. Things like this are just glorious, and I could eat just this for dinner. The other people in my life would wonder where the steak is that goes with it. And then just some chopped herbs. And then my second shortcut is bottled dressing, and this is a lemon garlic dressing. Oh, just perfect. Oh my goodness. You can totally make your own dressing, but this is such a great shortcut, and you don't have to drag out all the different elements of the dressing, which is nice. And then just toss to your heart's content. And you could sort of mix it ahead of time like this and then refrigerate it and let the flavors start to meld, but we don't have time for such things. This is how I like to serve it. I have a big, beautiful bowl of arugula, and I'm just gonna try to get it into a pile in the center of the arugula. Toasted pine nuts, and you can also sprinkle on some extra, goat cheese or whatever you have, but to me, get the tongs, get the servers. To me, this is what spring is all about. And how easy was that? Such a triumph.
Chopped Italian salad. I do my bacon in the oven, about 375, about 15 minutes. Here's a great tip. If you're using your oven, use your oven, Put your bacon in there too, along with your tomatoes. Onto our pasta. It's going in our salad. 2 cups ditalini pasta. Ditalini in Italian means little thimbles, actually. So not only do they look cute, but they sound cute. Lorenzo loves them. They're great with a little butter, a little cheese. Let's keep an eye on this. We're gonna cook this slightly undercook it, shock it, so they stop cooking immediately. Some nice red cabbage, really bright, and it's a superfood. You can't go wrong using this vegetable. And I just cut it like an onion, shave it down almost, nice and close. Look how beautiful that's gonna look in there. All right, this is an easy way to chop an onion. That end, we want that end off. You always keep this little hairy end on as long as you can. Gentlemen, we want to keep our hair as long as possible. Luckily, I was blessed with a nice little bouffant here. So that way, it reminds me, I want my hair on my head. Let's keep the hair on the onion as long as possible. Even if you cut it in half, you're still gonna be able to get a good mince out of this onion. All right, start from the bottom, get in there, pull the knife back using the palm of your hand, turn it vertically. Look at this, so easy, but don't cut all the way through. Don't cut through that root end there, right? Turn it again, and look at that, perfect minced red onion. It's a great move. Beautiful. Of course, our bacon, crispy, right from the oven. Just start ripping through it. Beautiful, look at that. Oh, last but not least, we need some red in there, right? Not only is it savory and delicious and hearty, it's the perfect accompaniment to our sandwiches. The tomatoes,
course, some crumbled blue cheese. My sandwiches are mad. I can already tell. We're trying to outdo it with the salad, but like every great sandwich, it needs a partner. And today, it's gonna be that Italian chopped salad. Let's leave that in there for a couple minutes. I gotta grab my salad. Keeping it beautifully chilled, along with my sweet Italian dressing. This recipe is available on foodnetwork.com/sandwichking.
Don't be sorry.
I know you
Covers everything a little.
Ditalini, and I
Did-
love that in a
I-
salad.
And thank you, Paula, for teaching me.
Thank you for inviting me. This is fabulous.
It really is, and the salad is delicious as well.
I think everyone's a winner, and I'll come back anytime.
That's good.
I know you like that one. That's her favorite.
Nice
hearty texture to it.
All right.
Yeah. Nothing better than sharing the food you love with the people you love.
I've got all these beautiful ingredients. I've got some orange bell peppers. I've got hard-boiled eggs. Just have a salt and pepper shaker nearby. I've got some kind of brown maroon tomatoes, pretty. And cheese, slices of cheddar. You don't have to be like artistic when you arrange this stuff. You can just kind of tuck things here and there. I love things like this though, like if you're having friends over. And I forgot I had beautiful bacon pieces. So bacon, gorgeous. Oh my. A little container of ranch dressing. I'm gonna put some lemons here and there in case anybody just wants to squirt some lemons. Parsley. I think this is so pretty. I'm excited. Okay, salad's all done. What do you think?
I'm going to start the dinner tonight, my French bistro dinner, with a nice warm butternut squash salad. The kind of salad that you might find in a classic bistro in France, but with the volume turned up. It's got cold arugula, warm butternut squash, and a maple drizzle on it. It's so delicious. So I'm starting with 1.5 pounds of butternut squash. I've peeled it, just taken out the seeds, and I'm just going to cut it in big chunks. Just right onto a sheet pan. I do everything on a half sheet pan. Big drizzle of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. About 1 tablespoon of good maple syrup. Use the real thing, makes a difference. Lots of salt and pepper. Clean hands. Just toss it all together. So I'm gonna bake at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. It's gonna be nice and brown. Then I'm gonna turn it with a spatula. Add some cranberries for the last 5 minutes. They get nice and plump and it really brings out their flavor. Okay, into the oven. So the next thing I'm gonna make for the salad is a warm vinaigrette, which is a little unusual. Most vinaigrettes are cold. But what I'm gonna do is reduce it, really intensify the flavors, and the warm vinaigrette really gets into the butternut squash. It's delicious. First thing I'm gonna use is 3/4 of a cup of apple cider. You can use apple juice, but apple cider, if you can find it, is even better. And to give it a little bit of a vinegary edge, since it's a vinaigrette, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. It's sort of the sweet and sour thing at the same time. And then 2 tablespoons of shallots. So I'm just gonna let that reduce. It'll take about 6 or 8 minutes until it's really concentrated. The flavors are really melded together. In the meantime, I'm gonna go turn the butternut squash. I love the smell of butternut squash. So it's about half done, and I just want to turn it so it browns evenly on all sides. I want to make sure it's in one layer so it browns evenly. Into the oven. That's going to take about another 10 minutes. So the vinaigrette's reduced. Oh, that looks nice. It's really concentrated flavor. So now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of mustard. And what that's going to do is make an emulsion out of the vinaigrette. Half a cup of olive oil. And just whisk it in. Off the heat. About a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and just whisk it all together. When Geoffrey and I were first married, we took a 4-month camping trip in France. We've always loved French food since then. Really simple bistro food. I think he's gonna love this dinner. I'm gonna add cranberries to the butternut squash. Just about 3 tablespoons in the last 5 minutes of cooking. Really brings out their flavor and plumps them up. Time to assemble the salad. So the first thing I have is 4 ounces of arugula. It's gorgeous baby arugula. And I love it because it's got a nice peppery flavor. And it's great with the butternut squash. As soon as the butternut squash is done, I'm gonna put that on top. But first, I'm gonna grate some Parmesan cheese. I always use Reggiano Parmesan. Usually when I grate Parmesan, I grate it in a food processor with a steel blade. So it's sort of ground, not grated. But for this salad, I think big grates would be just terrific. That should do it. I think the butternut squash should be just ready. How gorgeous that looks. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm just gonna take the warm butternut squash, put it right on top of the arugula. It'll wilt the arugula, which is perfect. Okay, next I'm gonna put some walnuts, about 1/2 cup of toasted walnuts. I dry roasted them in a pan. Really brings out the walnut flavor. And lots of the grated Parmesan cheese, 3/4 cup. And the warm vinaigrette, it's sweet and it's sour from the vinegar. Just pour it all over. And just toss it all together, the spinach and butternut squash. It's got such great flavors, great autumnal looking salad. I would say that's gonna be perfect for Geoffrey's dinner. Now all we need is a glass of champagne. Geoffrey's gonna think we're in a bistro in Paris, right there on our side porch.
I am making my antipasto salad with prosciutto-wrapped breadsticks. I'm gonna make the dressing first, and I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons of olive brine, since I'm gonna be topping the salad with a bunch of olives. And this is gonna add really nice acidity and a lot of salt. So I'm not gonna need to add any more salt after the brine. I'll add a teaspoon of mustard, add that little zinginess. I'll whisk this together, and as I whisk, I'm gonna drizzle in some olive oil. Okay, this says thicken, it's creamy. I'm gonna add some black pepper. And that's it for the dressing. I'll grab the greens. I'm using a mix of spinach and arugula here. Spinach is just great and tender, and arugula gives that awesome peppery bite. I wanna toss it with my dressing, and I'm doing it now because once all of the antipasto toppings are on there, I don't wanna have to toss it because they're so pretty as they are. I'll get these completely coated. And I always use a nice big wide serving platter for this. And now I'll pretty up this salad with some beautiful antipasto elements. Here are all of my favorite foods, a bunch of cheese and loads of meat. And now I'm gonna pile them on top of these grains. I'm gonna start with some Parmesan cheese. And I love to really bite into my Parmesan cheese. So rather than grating it, I've crumbled it. And I'm gonna keep all of the toppings in their own little piles. That way people can grab the things that they like and arrange their own salad adventure. Next, I'd like to do the olives. Ugh, I love olives. I used to hate olives, but learning to love olives is just part of becoming a grown-up. I'll add some roasted red peppers for color and smokiness. I like this salad in the dead of winter when it's sometimes hard to come across good fresh vegetables. It's a good standby. A few creamy artichokes. A big ol' handful of salty, fatty salami. You'll find me at this section of the salad plate. Some pickled sweet peppers. Wow, these are so bright. Some juicy tomatoes. Put them right next to the Parmesan because tomatoes need a little salt and Parmesan is really salty. A perfect pair. I'm leaving a section in the center for some marinated mozzarella balls because they look really cute. I'll tear them up and plop them in the middle. So this salad is inspired by this gigantic antipasto spread at this restaurant right behind Carnegie Hall. I used to go there with my dad after he would play concerts there, and it was the best thing ever. There was so much cheese and meat. And now there's one last open spot. I'll slice up a sweet pear. I'll pile these right on and drizzle them with a little balsamic glaze. It's sweet and sticky and really pretty. And now comes the time when I get to wrap these breadsticks with prosciutto, which is really good. They get a little soft when they're wrapped in prosciutto because they soak up the fat, and they're fun to eat. So I'm gonna take half a slice of prosciutto and just wrap it around a breadstick. Just like that. I'll plop this on the salad and then keep unwrapping. Prosciutto is so good. How pretty is this? And now for the final touch, I'll tear some fresh basil all over. Fresh basil makes me feel like I'm in Italy. I don't think anyone's gonna notice if I have a bite. A little mozzarella, a little salami, an olive. This is the salad of my dreams.
I love assembled salads. It's a whole meal in one dish. And one of my favorites is a roasted chicken Cobb salad. And it starts with bacon. How bad could that be, right? So I've cooked the bacon 350 degrees on this sheet pan so all the fat drains off, which is great. I cooked it for about 20 to 25 minutes, so I'm gonna let that cool. In the meantime, I've got all these other ingredients. The first one's Stilton, which is English blue cheese. And I'll show you how I like to cut this up. I just cut off the rind. A lot of people like to crumble Stilton into a salad, but I think it just makes everything look messy. So what I like to do is, as much as possible, cube it. So I'm just gonna prep all the ingredients, and then just before serving, put it all together. See, like big pieces are much better. I've cut up Hass avocados, big dice, because when I do an assembled salad, I want everything to be really clear. And I mix it with a little lemon juice, just to keep it bright green. Okay, that's perfect. I've got arugula that I washed and spun dry. It's got that really nice peppery flavor. I'll be really good in this. And I've got cherry tomatoes. And actually, I always cut the cherry tomatoes through the stem. I just think that looks nicest when you cut it open. Okay, next thing's the chicken. I roasted 2 chicken breasts. I slathered them with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and just roasted them 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, just until they're done. And then it's really important to let them rest. All the juices get back into the meat. A long time ago, I tested boiling chicken for chicken salad as opposed to roasting, and the roasting was so much better. So just take off the skin. Now I'm gonna take my knife and just run it right between the meat and the bones in a big piece, but it doesn't all have to come off at once, and then just pull it apart. I don't like lots of little pieces, so make big chunks, or you can shred it. Sometimes shredding is nice because it really absorbs the vinaigrette well. Okay, that's the chicken. So the bacon's cool now. I can cut it in big pieces. Big pieces. It's nice and crisp. Okay, that's the bacon. Now I'm gonna make the vinaigrette. So that's 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm gonna add 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, and then Dijon mustard, what it does is emulsify it and flavor it at the same time. So 1½ tablespoons. It's gonna have lots of flavor. Some salt, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and just whisk it all together. First, I'll start with the diced chicken, then the tomatoes, lots of salt, pepper, enough dressing to just moisten it, and I'll toss it all together. Next, the avocados, diced bacon, Stilton, the arugula on top, a little more dressing, a gentle toss, and it's done. That's so cool. How delicious does that look?
Since this is a salad, I'm starting out by chopping up some lettuce. I'm starting with iceberg lettuce, partly because it's really, really sturdy and it makes a good foundation for the rest of the ingredients. Now, I'll just make a big layer in the bottom of a bowl. Okay, now I'll do a layer of tomatoes. I'll just cut off the top, and then I'll cut it into 6 pieces, and they'll just be big chunks of tomatoes. I love to pick ingredients with all different colors for this salad. Makes it look really pretty. Okay, now I'll start arranging the tomatoes. I concentrate on the outside of the bowl because I want to make sure to get all that beautiful color. Alrighty, I think that ought to be enough. Now for the next lettuce, I have some baby spinach, and I'll just pile that on top of the tomatoes. I like to do a mix of spinach and iceberg. The iceberg is nice and crunchy, but the spinach has that gorgeous dark green color, so it just helps the prettiness of the salad. Okay, now on top of the spinach, I'm gonna put some chopped hard-boiled eggs. The eggs are all chopped up, so I'll just pile those in. Concentrate around the perimeter. Make sure you can see them on the side. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna sprinkle the eggs with just a little salt and pepper. Get some seasoning in there in the middle of the salad. Okay, now on top of the hard-boiled eggs, I'm gonna put a whole bunch of chopped bacon. Leave it to me to put bacon in my nice healthy salad. Okay, now I'll just sprinkle the bacon all over the eggs. Oh boy, I love hard-boiled eggs and bacon. I just love that combo. Perfect. Now I'll sprinkle in some sliced green onion. I did the light green and a little bit of dark green parts. Big, big flavor with these. Now on top of the green onions, I'll put a bunch of grated sharp cheddar cheese. And you can get creative with this layer. You can do pepper jack if you want it to have a little bit of a spice. Any kind of cheese you want. You can even do a mix. Just even out the surface. This is getting more and more full. Now I have some frozen green peas. I just rinsed them under cool water and let them thaw just a bit. And I'm gonna pour those over. This will be the very top layer before I put on the dressing. It's just mayo and sour cream with a little bit of sugar mixed until smooth. Okay, now the dressing just gets poured right over the top. The great thing about this salad is the dressing pretty much seals everything in the bowl. You'll see some of the peas poking through the dressing. Now to give it just a little bit of extra flavor, I'm gonna chop up some herbs and sprinkle those over the top. It'll just make it taste even fresher. I've got some fresh parsley and fresh dill. I thought that would be a really yummy combination. And I'll just mince them up really finely. Okay, the herbs are really, really fine. So I'll just sprinkle them pretty lightly over the top.
It's my easy wedge salad, and it's not just any lettuce. It is the lettuce for a wedge salad, iceberg lettuce. So I'm making 4 wedges. Just when you cut it, make sure you go through the base so it stays intact. And I'm just gonna do one more cut, and there goes 2 wedges. And then the other one, right through that base. That's the most important part, so it kind of stays together. And then I like to just kind of line up my wedges and get them ready for what's about to happen, which is lots of flavor and drizzle action, all right? All right, so it's gonna start with bacon. I love a good bacon in the oven. Less splatter, less dishes, plus you can kind of walk away from it for a minute. I just get some brown sugar. If you've got dark brown, that works too. You know, it's just a little bit more molasses, so just a little bit more of that flavor and sweetness. And this is just regular bacon. If you do center cut, it's a little bit thicker. It's gonna take a little bit longer for that fat to render out, but whatever you've got. When I'm done with the brown sugar, I like to hit it off with a little bit of that meaty flavor. So I go into my pantry for some steak seasoning. Any brand. It's gonna have pepper, usually some onion flakes, some garlic flake. If you're lucky, a little bit of cayenne pepper, just depends on what brand you buy. All right, so I've got my grill set at 350 degrees. You can do this inside in your oven as well at 350. It's only gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes, depends on how much fat there is on your bacon. And it'll be nice and crispy, just like this. Take a look at this. Try hard not to lick your fingers and eat all the bacon before it goes into the salad. This is just for one salad, okay? 4 strips. And then just come in and give it a nice chop.
Cool, man, I can hear the crunch of that candied bacon. That's gonna bring a lot to the table.
Crunchy, delicious, sweet, and steaky because of that seasoning. Now, let me show you how to make this dressing, which you're gonna have to like marinate it for a minute because it's got some red onions in it. But the first thing that goes into the dressing is some balsamic vinegar. Very apropos for a wedge salad found in many steakhouses across America. And some honey. Shout out to all the steakhouses out there doing their best to keep it going. Then to that, I'm gonna add in some fresh thyme. I love fresh thyme. Some parsley. And then just whisk that up. I love a red onion, but a little bit of a bite, right? So if you marinate it in something acidic, and even if you just do salt water and then rinse it off after about 15 to 20 minutes, it takes that fresh bite out of it. So really smart to do. I'm gonna add in some cherry tomatoes that are just halved, mostly so you can get them to accept the flavor of the balsamic vinegar and that honey. And oh, by the way, the honey is hot honey, okay? If you can't find hot honey, you're more than welcome to try and make it, but it's online, so many different brands. It's not so spicy that it'll blow your lid off. It just adds a little hint of spiciness and flavor. All right, now's a good time to add a little bit of salt. Really helps those onions get that moisture out. A little bit of black pepper.
Sonny, I love how you're individually seasoning everything, so it's extra delicious when it comes together.
Right, so this is just gonna hang out for about 20 to 30 minutes. You'll notice it's ready to go when the tomatoes are kind of a little bit darker in color and these onions are kind of like relaxed and lazy and not so rigid. All right, I've got one on the back counter here. Take a look at that. Let's get these marinated tomatoes and onions over the top. Don't you guys love iceberg lettuce? So fresh, crunchy, and then just drizzle the rest of that over the top. All right, now, blue cheese dressing, the store-bought shortcut, and then as I drizzle that over the top, I always find that there's not enough blue cheese in my blue cheese dressing, so I'll just go get a wedge of blue cheese and make some crumbles on my own, or you can just buy the crumbles in the container at the grocery store and sprinkle those over the top. Such a cute little spoon for a big job. Look at this. Cheese everywhere. Come on, cheese. And then don't forget that bacon that we worked for in the very beginning. There you have it. A very easy wedge salad.
Lad's got all the kids at their respective sports practices, and I'm all by myself on the ranch. I thought I'd challenge myself to make some of my favorite recipes in less and less time. Okay, I'm making buffalo chicken salad, and I've got to get the chicken cooking. So I'm going to throw just a tablespoon of butter in a small skillet, and then I'll add just a little bit of olive oil. And while that's heating up, I've got one boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I'm just going to cut it in half, and this will help it cook a little faster. So I'll just lay my palm flat on top of the chicken, and I just slice it in half. It helps to have a really sharp knife. All right, now I'll just grab some salt and pepper, sprinkle it on top. Okay, now I'll just put it into the skillet with the butter and olive oil. Okay, I'm gonna whip up a really quick blue cheese dressing for the buffalo chicken salad. And it starts with half a cup of mayonnaise. Okay, and then I'll add a quarter cup of sour cream, quarter cup of milk. Then I'll mix this together and get it really, really smooth. Now to the dressing, I'll add a couple of dashes of Worcestershire. And then of course, since it's blue cheese dressing, about a quarter cup of blue cheese. A little bit more if you're like me. I like tangy, tangy, tangy blue cheese dressing. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit of pepper. Okay, the dressing's all done. So I'll start working on the salad greens. I'm gonna chop up some romaine lettuce. I'll just cut off the tough end, and then I'll just make small cuts. Okay, I think that ought to be enough. Now the chicken's just about done, so I'm gonna pour some Louisiana hot sauce right over the chicken. This is also called cayenne pepper sauce. It's the sauce I use to make buffalo wings. Now I'll let that sit for a sec. Now I'll throw the romaine into a bowl, and then I just have a box of mixed greens. I want the salad to have some variation in color and texture, so I'll just throw a few of these in there. And then I'll just mix this up. And now I'll just pour some of the dressing over the top. Any dressing I have left over, I'll just use as a veggie dip. Now the chicken's done, so the last thing I'm gonna do is just slice it up to put over the top of the salad. Okay, chicken to be unmistakably buffalo wing in nature, so I'm just gonna spoon a little bit more of the sauce over the top. I want them to be really saucy. Okay, now I'll assemble the salad. Got a serving bowl, and I'll just pile all the greens in there. got that yummy blue cheese dressing. Let me check the clock. Oh boy, I better hurry. I knew this one would be close. Okay, and then I'll just grab the chicken, arrange it over the top. Okay, now the last thing, I'm gonna cut the bottom off of a head of celery, open it up and grab a few celery hearts with the little leaves. This is just a nod to buffalo wings and eating celery with blue cheese dressing. And then I'll just sprinkle on a little bit of extra blue cheese. Okay, I gotta check the clock. Oh, just a little over 10 minutes. That counts, right?
My romaine salad with breadcrumbs and a simple dressing is the romaine adds such a nice, cool, refreshing crunch, and the breadcrumbs add great texture. So to get started, I'm gonna melt 2 tablespoons of butter in my skillet. Okay, I'm gonna add a cup of breadcrumbs, and I'm just eyeballing this. And I'm gonna season with salt and pepper. And I'm just gonna stir these around and keep on stirring for about 5 minutes until they're golden brown. Any breadcrumbs will do. I prefer using panko breadcrumbs though because they're extra crunchy. One thing I love about this salad is that there is so much crunchiness going on. The romaine is crunchy, the breadcrumbs are crunchy. It is just crunch on crunch on crunch on crunch. These are looking great. They're golden brown and toasty, and I can smell that butter. I'm gonna take them away from the heat so that they don't overcook, and I'll just transfer them to my sheet pan here so that they can cool. And now I'll get going on my dressing. I'm gonna start with a big plop of Greek yogurt. I always keep Greek yogurt on hand because it is the best base for dressings. It's super creamy and rich. And I just add whatever seasonings I feel like, stir it up with a little olive oil or water to thin it out, and you never have to buy store-bought dressing. I'm gonna add a little zing with some Dijon mustard, a couple good splashes of Worcestershire sauce, which is such a unique flavor. There's a little bit of molasses in it. I love this in dressings. And some garlic. And this just breaks it up really small so that it incorporates into the dressing. While I have the grater in my hand, I'm going to zest a lemon right into here. I'm gonna give my lemon a squeeze to release the juices. And then I'll chop it in half, and I'm gonna add the juice of half a lemon. Now I'm gonna thin it out with a little bit of water, and then I'll season with salt and pepper. And this dressing packs the flavor between the lemon zest and the zingy mustard and the Worcestershire sauce, which has a really unique flavor. It's gonna be really good. And I'm mixing to combine until it's smooth and creamy. Romaine is awesome. It's like the blue jeans of leafy greens because everything goes with it. This salad could not be easier. I'll just break it up into bite-sized pieces. I love how crisp this is. All right, now I'm gonna shave on some parm, and I like a lot of parm, so I'm going for about 3/4 of a cup. All right, my breadcrumbs have cooled, and I'm gonna end most of them. I'm gonna save some for the top of my salad. And now I'm just gonna dress. And I'll use my tongs to toss it and get all of the romaine evenly coated in the dressing and the breadcrumbs. This one fell off, so I get to taste it. It's very bright, crunchy, delicious. To finish, I'll top it with more parm. And then the rest of my breadcrumbs.
Broccoli and broccoli stem salad. Because you know what we do? We grab the broccoli and we cut all these cute little florets off the top. It's like trimming all the flowers and just leaving all the stems, right?
I know, the stem's always sad and gets thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
The little things we do not to have things left over is a big part of being green, is just not wasting and buying the right stuff. The florets, I just cut them down a little bit so they're all kind of relatively the same size. And then for the for the broccoli stem, I literally just take a peeler to it as if it were a carrot. The outside is really chewy and tough, and it becomes even more so when you cook it.
Alex, I'm watching you do that with that vegetable peeler. You could just keep doing that and make that part of the salad, just like a carrot
Like zoodles,
shaving.
but with...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always cut the bottom part off because it's just a little too woodsy. And then I just cut it into about inch rounds so that I imagine it's gonna cook in a similar time frame to the florets, right? Because this is all roasted. This super simply, I mean, really, because we've got some big flavors in the dressing. So I like to keep this part kind of simple. Just a little olive oil. And you do need to touch quite a bit of the broccoli. It really needs that. I mean, broccoli has nowhere to hide.
And very smart. You got that parchment paper down. Let's clean up.
Oh, definitely. And then I'm gonna put these in the oven at 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes till they get nice and tender and a little bit browned.
Brown broccoli, I love it.
I know, I like the little crispy bits, especially even if it's a little burnt.
Yeah.
I like it.
Definitely. And I don't think we have that browned flavor enough in salads. It's kind of an unusual
You're right.
place.
You don't think about doing the roasted for a salad.
The dressing has some really big flavors. Some of my favorites. I know Geoffrey says that a jar of mustard and I are one, and I put a quarter cup.
Wow.
I think that's a whole jar of Dijon.
Okay, it's a whole jar of Dijon, not a lot of calories. Really delicious. Quarter cup of olive oil to match the mustard. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. About a tablespoon of lemon zest. I'm really into measuring or telling people how much lemon zest, because people may just grate that lemon and have like a cup and put it in, you know, because they get excited. Tiny pinch of sugar, just because there's a lot of like mustardy and spicy little bits, and then 2 tablespoons of creamed horseradish.
Oh my Lord.
Oh.
So this has mayonnaise or sour cream, depending, mixed into grated horseradish.
Oh, that's the cream one. That's not the one in the jar. The
Yeah.
Not the prepared horseradish, the creamed
Which I
horseradish.
live on.
We are not
I put that
going.
in my coffee in the morning. I love that.
Oh, man.
Just whisk all this together.
Wait, so is that water that you put in?
Yeah, so I do often find when I make salad dressing, one of the most underrated things is just a splash of water. Just to kind of smooth it, especially when there are a lot of strong flavors, but also make it easier to coat whatever you're putting in your salad. I'm gonna just stem.
Oh, yeah.
Upcycled tarragon.
Yeah, but just a little, right? Because we didn't know we were putting it, but now that we have this indoor garden, you know, it really, it upcycles your cooking. Forget about it, you know? Okay, first, the stems, I feel, they need the most help. So I always sort of drop them in the dressing first. I give them, you know, first class seating. Give them a glass of champagne and the mixed nuts first, and then I add the florets, which I'll just all put on here. So this is really the base of it. And there's too much dressing. But we know then that those stems are gonna get really coated. Please, for my grandmother, I always, just a tiny pinch of sugar. People say, why don't vegetables taste like they did when I was a kid? And I said, just add a pinch of sugar, and it's the adult
Helps
form.
the medicine go down.
It really makes any salad dressing better to have
does,
that
it
little
really does.
touch of sweetness.
And
And
then-
this is such a great summer side, you know, to make a salad like this. It's very easy, only a few ingredients. All of those ingredients for your vinaigrette you got on hand.
And I just go from the inside to the out and bring it up, almost like when you fold egg whites into something. You don't want to overwork the broccoli, or, you know, you want to be kind of gentle with it. So scoop from the bottom and turn it so it coats. And then a little bit of arugula, because I like that taste. I never chop arugula unless I'm using it like an herb. But when in a salad like this, I do just cut it a little bit, tiny drizzle. I don't like to be gratuitous with olive oil because it has a lot of calories. But a little bit at the end, kind of nice, because there actually isn't a lot of fat in this. Me at home, I'd probably serve this right in the bowl, shamelessly.
Yeah, wash another dish.
But I do like...
It is so pretty in there.
It is, I like a mound.
Gorgeous,
Salad, a mound
Alex.
salad.
Gorgeous salad.
And then just serve it up. I'm going right for the stem, because that's the part we want to...
Ah. Oh.
It smells so good.
The mustard and the horseradish, the lemon zest, but not too much. Everything just fits here. It's a lot of the same flavor in different forms, but most of all, we didn't waste anything.
A lot of people say, you know, I love steak, but I don't want to eat steak and potatoes every night. I always direct them to the big steak salad. It's one of my favorite beef recipes. It's pretty much a huge salad with a big juicy steak on top, and then another thing on top, and I'll wait before I tell you about that. It's a pretty decadent dish. I've got 2 ribeye steaks, putting them in a plastic bag, and I'm gonna let them sit for just a short amount of time in this delicious marinade. It's an Asian-influenced marinade. The first ingredient is canola oil, red wine vinegar, and also balsamic vinegar, some Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, and then for some zip, a couple of tablespoons of fresh lime juice, a little sugar for a hint of sweetness, garlic, some minced fresh ginger, hot chili oil, salt, and black pepper. Believe me, it's good. Now, I'll just pour half the marinade into the bag with the steaks. And the great news about this is it doubles as the salad dressing, so I'll save that for later. Now, I'll just seal up the bag. I'm gonna let the steaks marinate for about 5 to 10 minutes. You can let them go longer if you have the time, but you don't have to. Now, one of the best parts about this salad is I top the whole thing with thin fried onion rings. I've got 2 onions and I sliced them really, really thin, and I'm just gonna do a quick soak with some buttermilk. It's just gonna moisten them up, take a little bit of the pungent onion flavor away. And while they're sitting, I'll make the dry mixture, and that's just 2 cups of flour, and a good amount of salt, just about a tablespoon or so. About a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, gives them a little kick, and then just some regular pepper. Then I'll whisk this together. Okay, now I've got some oil going. It's about 350, 360. So I'm gonna stir the onion rings around just a little bit. And then I'll just take a little bunch, let the buttermilk drip off, drop them into the flour mixture, and then I'll pick them up and hit the tongs on the side of the pan, and that just helps the excess flour drop off. And then I'll just plunge them into the oil, and these are gonna fry in no time. I'm gonna do them in batches so they'll cook really evenly, and they are gonna be golden and crisp and out of this world. The onion rings are just about done. I'm just taking out the last of them. All right, I'll turn that off. Now I'll get the steaks going for the big steak salad. I've got a grill pan. That's a nice shortcut way to grill things. It gives things nice grill marks without having to go outside and light a big fire. All right, 1 steak, 2 steaks. Now I'll let those sit. They're gonna go about 2 to 3 minutes per side. So I'll get started on the salad ingredients. I've just got a big old box of mixed greens, arugula, radicchio. You can use any lettuce you want. All right, now I'll just throw in some whole grape tomatoes. I'm not even gonna cut them up. Okay, spread all that out. Now I'm gonna slice the steaks. I'll go against the grain and just slice sort of thin strips. I love warm steak and cold salad. It's one of life's real pleasures. Okay, and then of course, the grand finale. I'll just grab a nice handful of onion strings and put them right on top of the salad. I know I am breaking a few rules here, but I don't care. This is so delicious. I'm gonna make an Asian noodle salad. It's so flavorful, so easy to make, and it's bursting with pretty much every color under the rainbow. Now, there's a lot of prep to this salad, but nothing is complicated at all. I just sliced up some purple cabbage, otherwise known as red cabbage, depending on who you ask. Now, I've got some cucumber slices. I used an English cucumber and just seeded it and sliced them into crescent moon shapes. And then kale. Kale is my life these days. I don't know why, it's just so delicious. It holds together really well in salads. I just pulled the leaves off of stalks of kale and then I shaved it really, really thin. Now, a bag of sweet peppers. I love these little things. They have a teeny bit of spice, but they're really, really beautiful, super tasty. Now, there's another kind of cabbage in the salad, Napa cabbage. Also one of my favorite salad ingredients. It's nice and crunchy and curly and pretty. I love colorful food and pretty food. and then some shredded carrots. And then I have a nice pile of bean sprouts. Really, you can use any veggies you want for this salad. Pretty much anything goes. And I also have some sliced scallions. I'll get those in there. There is so much flavor in this salad. I absolutely love it. Now, gotta have noodles in this salad. That's part of what makes it so delicious. I've got some thin cooked spaghetti. You can use linguine, you can use rice noodles, pretty much any noodle you have in your pantry. The point is you have noodles, you have colorful veggies, and it always turns out gorgeous. The salad's all tossed together. Now for the delicious dressing, which is a major part of how delicious this is. It starts with olive oil, about a half a cup or so. I love jars when it comes to making salad dressing. It makes everything so easy. And then about a third a cup of low sodium soy sauce. I'm just guessing. I'll also add about a fourth a cup of oyster sauce. It's really thick and rich. It adds a little bit of sweetness. That's a good amount. And then for some bite and tang, about a fourth a cup of rice wine vinegar. You can just use regular white distilled vinegar if that's what you have. You can just use what you have in your pantry. Now, I love toasted sesame oil. I think I'll add about 2 tablespoons, which is quite a lot, but I love the flavor of this stuff. It's so good. Now, speaking of flavor, I've got some minced ginger, out of this world, and then several cloves of chopped garlic. I definitely need some sweetness, so I'll put about 3 big tablespoons of brown sugar. You can also use honey, that's really delicious too. I love brown sugar, what can I say? Now I'll just get the lid on and give it a shake until it's all mixed together. Okay, that's it for the dressing. So it just gets poured over this gorgeous, colorful, crispy, crunchy salad. Now I'll just toss it around. Oh, this is looking good. You basically want to have as many vegetables as you do pasta noodles. You don't want to have too much of any one ingredient. Now that's looking great. I just have a couple of more things to add. This will send the flavor over the top. I've got some fresh cilantro and then peanuts. I love the crunch of peanuts in this salad. I'll just get about half a cup or so. You can just leave them like they are. I like to chop them up a bit so the pieces aren't quite so big. Those look good, so they go right into the salad. And I'll just toss it. You can also save a few extra cilantro leaves and peanuts to sprinkle over at the end. I think everything looks just perfect. Now, this is a lot of salad, so I usually grab the biggest platter I can find. If you start with a small platter, you're gonna have salad all over your counter. So it just goes right on. I mean, this salad could win every beauty pageant it enters. Nothing about it that isn't gorgeous. I tell you what, if you love color, this is definitely the salad for you.
I'm gonna make my Cape Cod chopped salad. It's gonna be delicious. Dried cranberries make it Cape Cod. I love all the big, bold flavors of the things from the farm. Of course, you can buy arugula at the grocery store. You need about 8 ounces for the salad. I actually love composed salads like this because you can really throw anything in that you like. I always go into the pantry and go, that would be good in this. That's how this salad came about. So the arugula, I just cut it in pieces. Half a cup of dried cranberries. Just toss them all in. And I've toasted some walnuts. It's about a half a cup of toasted walnuts. I toast them because when they're crisp, they really have that sort of walnut flavor. Just a big rough chop right on top. I'm gonna assemble all the pieces and then make a vinaigrette. Next, an apple. Granny Smith apple from my farm box. I'm just gonna peel it and chop it. Granny Smith apple's great because it's really tart, but if you have another apple, you can use really any apple you like. Just get a big chop. I don't like things too finely diced. I really want to just know they're there. Look how gorgeous that is. Okay, next is blue cheese. I'm gonna use Roquefort because I love it. I need about 6 ounces of crumbled blue cheese. Roquefort is French sheep's milk cheese. So just give it a chop and then crumble it a little bit. What a great combination is it? Sweet and piquant and peppery. It's got everything going for it in this salad. So for the vinaigrette, I want a really fresh flavor. So because of the apples in the salad, I'm gonna use apple cider vinegar, about 3 tablespoons. Okay, then I need 2½ teaspoons of Dijon mustard. I want this to have lots of flavor. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. About a teaspoon of grated orange zest. And if you do it right into the bowl, you get all of the oils into the salad dressing. Okay, and then orange juice. Okay, I'm just gonna approximate. This is the kind of salad dressing you just want to taste and make sure it's right. Fantastic. Okay, lots of salt and pepper. Vinaigrette has to be really highly seasoned. Because remember, it's just gonna coat the lettuce. Give it a whisk, and then 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. The mustard actually acts as an emulsifier, so if you pour it in really slowly, it'll emulsify the dressing. Okay, that should do it. Just taste it, make sure it's right. It's great. Really taste the maple syrup. You can taste the mustard and the apple and orange. Just pour it right over. Just enough to moisten it, but not soak it. Give it a big toss, and then I have one more thing to put in, something salty and crunchy. A little bacon that I roasted at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. That's the last thing I put in. When I'm testing recipes, this is usually just about the time that my assistant barber shows up. It's lunchtime. I think this is gonna be really good. Just make sure it's good. Peppery arugula. Vinaigrette's really good. It's sort of sweet and tart. This is definitely one of my favorite salads.
We're gonna make Caesar salad. And when you have really great Caesar salad, what do you gotta have? Exactly. Great croutons. And great croutons, now, a lot of people like to use day-old bread, which I think is fine, but I don't have time to wait around for the bread. So what I'm gonna do is just cut some rough crostini-style bread. I've got the oven fired up, of course. Knock that out. Looks like about enough. I should probably check this out. When I go to the store, I have to get 2 loaves of bread. One that I eat as I peruse the store, and the other that I actually come home and cook with. Okay? Let me get a different pan. Okay. Quick, simple, easy. I think if you're gonna have croutons, if you're gonna eat them, you're gonna do it, don't do them out of a box. Come on. That, a little bit of olive oil. Each one of them. We'll get it with a little S&P. We'll get a little bit of thyme in there. Parmesan cheese. Okay, we're gonna let these just go and dry out. It's gonna complement the Caesar salad. We are Caesar salad fans around here. A little dust of some Parmesan. But I only want Caesar dressing. I really gotta make the dressing. Now, different people, some people like to emulsify it. Well, I'll show you in a little bit, but you're gonna see, make the bomb, especially with those fresh eggs, those golden yolks, nuts. All right, this, just peel up, just sprinkle on a little bit of thyme. The stem comes off with it, that's fine. That means it's tender enough. That's it, okay? A little bit of time on that. In the oven. Over to the side. Don't want it to brown up too much. Let it come out, let it cool down, turn out nice and dry. Okay, so in with some garlic. A little bit of anchovy. This is the key right here with the 2 forks. We'll just go 1 nice big anchovy. Depends on the size. Okay. A little bit of Dijon mustard. A little more, so you can see that. So the yolks, the garlic, the anchovy, Worcestershire. Just a touch. A little bit of the lemon or lime. There you go. So now, wanting to break up that anchovy, I'm raking the anchovy over the other fork. And this one here, I'll make it easier so you can see this. See this? So what I've got is I've got this anchovy sitting in here, and I'm raking that over the top of the other fork just really helping that anchovy break down. Now, if you have anchovy paste, that's fantastic, okay? We break that down. There we go. Now, this is not a super emulsified dressing. We could do this with a food processor. It would be really nice and tight. But when I was the flambe captain at the Red Lion Motor Inn in Eureka, this is how we did it tableside. There we go. And for a little more flavor, a little extra virgin olive oil as well. Okay. We're in good shape with that. We'll just let this hit a little salt, pepper to it, and then we'll just let this kind of sit here and hang out and let all the flavors come together. Refrigerating, it's a great idea, but we're gonna use it so quick. Hunter, go ahead and hit some croutons on that. And we made some Caesar dressing. Ryder got the eggs. Julesy and Hunter made the sandwiches. But look at this beautiful Caesar dressing with those golden yolks out of my chicken ranch. I am a chicken rancher, as you can tell. Okay, you good with that?
Is that good?
A little bit more. All right, here. We'll just spoon on. Let me scoot in here, son. So we kind of do a rough cut on the romaine. We've got Worcestershire garlic, anchovies. Hunter, there's some Parmesan cheese right there. Grab that. It's going to be kind of a appetizer hand salad.
So I've got Greek lamb with tzatziki. I thought, Greek salad. This I can make in my sleep. So first the vinaigrette. Half a cup of olive oil. That should be about right. 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. I always like to use a good red wine vinegar. Just smell it. You'll know if it's good. Half a teaspoon of good Dijon mustard. One teaspoon of oregano. You know, usually I use fresh herbs, but in the case of oregano, I think it's really strong. So what I do is I take dried oregano and then just crush it between my hands, and it really releases the oils in it. It's one of the few herbs I think is actually too strong fresh. Oregano, teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and of course garlic. I've got 2 cloves of garlic, minced. Just whisk it all together. Okay, that's good. Next, the vegetables. First thing is 1 hothouse cucumber, then just cut the cucumber in big, thick slices. Next, 1 red pepper, large diced, and 1 yellow pepper, large diced. I think they taste so much better than green peppers. Okay, next, tomatoes. I'm just gonna cut each tomato in half. And just toss it right in. Okay, that's the tomatoes. Next is red onion. I actually use red onion because I think it's a little sweeter than yellow onion. Half a cup of Kalamata olives. They're Greek olives, and of course, a Greek salad demands Greek olives. They're already pitted. And next, the vinaigrette. Just toss it all together. Just pour on enough so that the whole salad is moistened. That's about the whole thing. That should be it. Just give it a big toss. All these gorgeous vegetables. So it's about 2 cups of feta. Doesn't get any more delicious, and it's great for a big party. That's the Greek salad done.
Right off the cob. They're not too hot to handle. I love fresh corn because then you can control how much you cook it. I like corn to be pretty crunchy, not totally raw, but not totally cooked either. Now I'll just grab the chicken, dice it up. It looks really, really good. Everything in this salad is sort of bite-sized. That's what I love about it. Every bite is fun. It has a lot of different things going on. I'm so looking forward to getting together with Missy. And of course, we love getting together with the whole family, but sometimes we just want to kind of get over in a corner, have some girl talk. Okay, everything's ready. Now I just need to assemble the salad. I've got a whole bunch of shredded green leaf lettuce. I literally shaved it with a really sharp knife. Now I'll sprinkle on the diced chicken. And then I diced up just some Roma tomatoes. And then the grilled corn, delicious. I'll sprinkle on some pepper jack cheese, sliced green onions, avocado. Well, speak of the devil. Hi, Missy. You're here.
I'm here.
How weird for us just to get together for lunch. No
I know.
kids, no husbands.
No.
I'm just finishing our salad, so I just gotta put the dressing on. There's tomatoes in there. Did you say healthy? Well, I'm gonna sprinkle a few chips on, if you don't mind.